Guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Ugly Melodies podcast. I am your host, Chris Cordova, alongside me, Dave Edwards. And today we have a special guest, a good friend of mine, awesome music enthusiast, local San Antonio bass player. We've shared the stage with him many times. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Nate Smyth.
What's going on, guys?
My dude.
Oh, yeah.
My bearded bro.
There you go. Hey, how's it going, Doc?
Couldn't be any better, man. I'm honestly just living life and just kind of doing my own thing, you know.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. We've been trying to get you on the podcast, but we had a few setbacks, but we finally got you on, dude. So fucking sick.
Finally, about time.
Hell yeah.
I wanna bring it up right off the bat because I know it's probably going to be a question that's going to come up. Top three is probably Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, and Randy Savage.
Hell yeah, dude.
Old school.
I had a feeling that was going to come up. I was like, I'm just going to get this out the way. Or even asked.
You know, since we're talking about that real quick, because of the ones I forgot, me and Chris talked about this. One of my favorite underrated wrestlers, Tajiri.
Mm.
Ooh, it's a good one, dude.
I had to throw him in there because I totally forgot about the last time we brought him up on the podcast. So I'm like, I gotta give Tajiri some love there.
Right.
So,
You know what I thought about earlier? It's when you bring up wrestling. I was thinking, I saw a video earlier that Umaga, his son, is in wrestling now.
yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. But I think I want to dress up as Umaga for Halloween.
Ooh.
And just Simone's my motherfucker in my wake.
Yeah, that's a generational, like, talk about a family of wrestlers, like, going how many generations? Maybe 5? Possibly. And that family's been around forever. And Undertaker's wrestled 4 out of the 5 generations, maybe. So,
yep. Fucking crazy, dude.
I gotta admit though, I'm not the most like knowledgeably inclined WWE wrestler like fanatic. I'm more like I named those 3 just because of more like how like iconic they were. I love how like I've seen some old wrestling clips and whatnot. Obviously Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant were like best friends, and I think Andre the Giant was just one of the biggest like eighth wonders of the world. He's fucking guy was massive. And Randy Macho Man Savage, I just loved his whole like entourage of like just like who he was, like how like he was like super like colorful, but like super like I'm gonna break you in half, like
hell yeah.
The character of his whole character is just fucking hilarious, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know what, dude? He might have been the first one to actually pull off like the greatest gimmick of all time. Like, if you think about it, his presentation and everything like that. Now, you had Ric Flair also, but nobody did it like the Macho Man.
Right?
I mean, he had it all. The flair, the attitude, the toughness. Yeah, he kind of had it all. Maybe the first one. I might be wrong, but the most iconic one, as you would say.
Right.
They got 2 bases behind you. You said one was a Jackson, right?
No, the Jackson's in the other room actually.
Okay.
So I've got the Spectre bass right here to my right, and then my most used stage bass is the ESP.
Yeah, I recognize that. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah,
I wish I busted this one out a lot more on stage because it's a beautiful sounding bass.
I gotta say, without without trying to blow too much smoke up your ass, seeing you play live before was fucking. You're like one of the most energetic bass players I've ever seen play live. Like, just fucking, even when you got on stage, besides like you jumping off stage and running around, like holy shit, like yes, dude. Like it just fucking, I would get pumped up watching you play. Like yes, like it's fucking killer. And even especially your fucking tone, dude. I bet I told you before, yeah, your fucking tone was killer live too when we would play back then. And yeah, I don't think I've ever told you that before, but yeah, I was like, that's one thing I wanted to tell you.
I appreciate it, man. And honestly, I mean, it all comes down to so uh I've always hated the whole like premise of like as a bass player, like you just sit there and just kind of are on stage and not really like doing anything. I've always saw it as like like Jason Newsted and Cliff Burton. They were just Cliff Burton wasn't really, he was more like stationary, but you saw him just putting in massive amounts of like energy into that. And at the same time, you got Jason Newsted, who's just running across the stage back and forth, doing spins and twirls with his bass. And I've always, as a bass player, I've always idolized those two kind of combined. So I'm like, don't just stand there in the corner. And for the longest time, I was always held down by the cable until I finally got the wireless system. And that's when I decided I'm like, I'm gonna just start running everywhere. And at the beginning, I'm running around everybody, I'm going outside, I'm coming back in. Like I don't know what it is, but I love just not being on stage while I'm playing on stage, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
That
dude,
makes
like
perfect sense.
what you said, like you seen like you embody Newstead on stage, dude. Because I was like thinking like, man, he reminds you of Newstead when I first saw y'all play live, and I was like, god damn, dude, like he's all over the place, dude. And I loved it, dude. It got me pumping, especially when you're playing thrash metal like that, dude. I mean, yeah, you got to fucking move around, dude. Like
For
I see a
sure.
lot of like they're playing 1,000 miles per hour and they're just right there. And what with you, man, like you got this energy that dude from playing to fucking actually like physically throwing it out there when you're on stage too, man. I dig it, dude.
Right. And you like even like you were saying is like it I I've seen it as like when you're playing on stage, it's kind of like taking the crowd for a ride. You can see the crowd's attitude, from when you first come out and they're like, oh shit, this is dope. And then, a couple songs in, they're kind of like, all right, it's kind of, mellowing out. And that's where I'm like, I don't want it to mellow out. I jump back in, into the crowd right there in the middle of the mosh pit. Like I saw you, the video of you at your birthday bash. You were right there in the
Yeah,
middle of the mosh pit, and
yeah,
that just you know brings that crowd energy right back up again. And, it's just trying to keep it as high as it can, and let it kind of sit there at the plateau, and then bring it down a little bit, towards the end of the set. And I feel like that's what I used to kind of bring, when I would do that. I was kind of trying to hype up the crowd a little bit more.
yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see you get back on stage soon, man. So hopefully that's something cooking, dude.
I hope I get the chance to, because I not gonna lie, I've been kind of distant and kind of dropped the ball on playing lately, but I'm also not too much in a hurry to uh get in another band. um I'm hoping to possibly even do some little fill-in shows or whatever, or you know maybe do a song or two with a couple of my buds and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, dude. Maybe I might need a bass player filling a couple shows here and there. Because Oscar, he plays in two bands with my band and his other band, I'm human. So who knows?
Mhm.
Maybe they still coming up and we get asked to do a show. Like, oh well, shit. Like, we'll see what happens. We can't get it. All right. Well, yeah, we'll give you a call, dude. Fucking send you the tabs and create the books.
For sure. I mean, I definitely always want to, be on stage live. I've always said that I'd rather be 70 years old in a dive bar playing on a stage with, a 3 or 4 piece band to like 5 people, rather than I'm, 70 years old in a rocking chair. All my guitars and stuff are in storage or sold or whatever, and I just give up on music. That's the last thing I want to happen.
I
Fuck
think
yeah.
Hetfield said it best. He goes, I would rather live a life of regret than a life of what ifs, you know?
Mhm. For
Yeah.
sure.
You have any experiences live where like your best experience and your worst experience live?
Let me think, because a lot of shows that I've played live were a lot of them are just up there. I really don't take any show for granted. There's been a couple of shows where maybe like 10 people showed up, and it's like, all right, well, this is kind of crappy, but well, I'm still gonna push through, and I'm still gonna try and put on. Like there was one time we played at Vibes, I remember, and like I think we were headlining it that night, and literally when we went on stage, everybody except for the staff and our girlfriends were there. And so we're like, well, this is just kind of like a live practice at a real venue. So I mean, we still enjoyed it, and I still jumped off stage, walked up to my girlfriend, and I was still playing in front of her, and then got back on stage, and like I still jumped off stage. I can't stay on the stage. Like, I've got to be moving all the time. That was kind of, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing. I really don't have a worst show.
Yeah.
I definitely want to say one of the best shows I played, I think, was either when we opened for Hatchet and Ex Mortis out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That was a really packed show.
Fuck yeah.
It was either that, or definitely one of the most fun shows I had was our last show in New Mexico. We played at like a Stranger Things festival. And
that's cool.
That was our last show, and that show too was also very packed. That was the last show my dad saw me at. I still was in the cable stages. I didn't have my wireless set up, but I remember they were doing the guitar solo, wailing and whatnot, and I was like, I'm not just gonna stand here on stage and just like hang out. I just unplugged my bass, kept the bass on me, ran down the side ramp. It was weird how the setup was like you were on stage, you turned right and went down this ramp, and it was outside, like an outside big patio area. And I went down the ramp and all the way to the back. And so I was behind the entire crowd, and the stage is here. And I just come running through the crowd with my bass and climb up onto the guard railing. And I'm just standing there on the guard railing, holding it, just like, come on, like screaming. And I'm like hanging on, and everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, I think I caught them off guard. It just like popped out of nowhere, and they're like, oh shit.
That was some Macho Man shit, is what that was.
Yeah, it just came to the sea of crowd.
That's fucking dope, dude. That's fucking amazing. Oh yeah.
What was what would your guys' best concert be?
Dave, you want to answer first?
As far as me playing, or just just in general?
Yeah, I'd say both. You playing, and then even we'll go into like, your favorite show you've been to concert wise.
There was one show, a concert wise, shit, that's a tough one. But me playing, this is back in like the mid 2000s. First time playing outside of like San Antonio, and like I said, I was filling in too. We made our way up to, is it Pueblo, Colorado?
Yeah.
Like it's southern, like one of the southern cities of Colorado.
Like Durango.
Like Durango, I think it was Pueblo. And then we went from there to Colorado Springs. There was about 30 people there because one of the bands who I was associated with, they knew them up there. About 30. Then like more people came, so about 50, 60 people came. I'm like, fuck yeah. And it was one of these venues where they were serving alcohol, but they were also serving food. So I kind of pulled a move, kind of what you did. But since it was like the stage was like so close to the bar, somebody was serving pizza. So I just kind of like walked a couple steps. I was like, hey, can you feed me a slice of pizza? Took a couple of slices, took a bite of a pizza, got energized back up, and did a half-ass stage dive into the crowd.
Nice.
And they caught me, but they didn't keep me up for very long. At the time, I was like very heavy. So
I just picture you stage diving into the crowd with just a piece of pizza just like hanging in your mouth. Like, oh.
that would have been the most epic moment ever. But I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go that far. But it was close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough. That was probably the best thing I ever played. That and playing just in front of friends in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of my high school friends, like just coming out like, oh shit, I didn't know you got down. Motherfucker, I got down.
You didn't ask.
Hey, you didn't ask. Like, you don't like my kind of shit. Assholes. And I don't talk to them anymore. So if they ever see this, fuck y'all. No, and I mean that jokingly. That was my best show playing. Concert wise, I couldn't tell you which was the best one. Chris?
Concert wise, we'll do show wise. I gotta say this last one was probably our best one because like that one I was so like in the zone fucking playing. It was fucking like we kicked off it like we only had 20 minutes to play, but we managed to fit like I think 4 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Just kicked off with "Die Upon the Sword," and immediately thought about like I want a circle pit around me in the middle of the pit. So I was like, fuck it. So got in there and the pit opened up and that was fucking sick. And like, just fucking now that I have a wireless now too, and it was just fun as fuck. We fucking played Curve Stomp, our new song, and that was fucking crowds that got brought fucking riled up for it, dude. We had a good turn off too. I mean, there was like a lot of fucking people there, dude. I didn't think it would be that many people. I thought it'd be like close friends and family, but no, it was just people who were like friends I haven't seen in years.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from like all the bands from San Antonio that came down too. They were all just there hanging out, jamming too. And that was probably the best show I've had so far. Best concert is probably a 3-way tie with either Machine Head when I got the MVR shirt, Metallica in 2017.
Okay, that's on the same year.
Yeah, and Iron Maiden 2 years ago in Austin, because Iron Maiden that was probably like top tier. Like they just fucking sounded so fucking good. And I wasn't on the pit, wasn't on the floor. I was like in the seats, but it was still a good view. Like everything was just so fucking like sick, dude. Like they fucking sounded so mint.
Mm-hmm.
But the last birthday bash, that was probably the best show we played. Justin and Oscar were tight when playing. The crowd was just fucking loving it. Everybody's having a good time. It was sick. So,
gotcha.
Oh yeah, dude. But I forgot the other thing I was gonna ask you. I'll come back to it in a minute. But yeah, did you like the scene back in Albuquerque, or do you like prefer San Antonio scene over it, or is there any difference? Like, what's the difference between both of them?
So I would say definitely like right before we were about to move, I kind of started I kind of started like getting like not like the second thought, but just kind of like the thinking of like man, I think like a lot we're starting to get like a lot more traction here, and now we're about to leave. Like it was so crazy because we made so many fans at the last show. Because what it was like I said, it was a Stranger Things event. And so there were 2 bands. It was us, Powerhouse at the time. And I forgot the other band's name, but they were kind of more like a pop rock band. And so again, it was a Stranger Things event. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen the series all the way through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the pop band, they played, I think they played a couple of covers and they played some originals. One of the covers that they played was that Running Up That Hill.
Yep, I kind of figured.
And so we were like, well, we're a thrash metal band. We'll play Master of Puppets. So
yeah,
we played, we played all of our originals, and then we played Master Puppets in it. And honestly, like I've always been so intimidated by learning anything off of. Well, okay, I won't say that, but as far as like the song Master of Puppets, I've always been intimidated by it just because Cliff Burton is such an intricate and insane maniac as far as that song goes. And I've always like heard it. I'm like, that's so hard. I don't know if I can play that. I don't know if that's like beyond my skill level. And it was kind of like we were like, well, you have to learn it because we're playing it. It's because it's fitting for the show. So I started learning it and I was like, wow, this is actually a whole lot. Like it was hard, but it's like it wasn't as hard as I was like making it up to me. And so it was just kind of like a mindset I had to get in that. By learning that one song and getting me out of that mindset, opened up the doors for me to where I'm like, I could learn any song that I want to as long as I put my mind to it and actually just like sit down and like, okay, learn it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude. Good shit, man. Good shit. I remember seeing that video on YouTube whenever I first heard about y'all. And I was like, all right, well, cool. Let me look them up. And y'all didn't have anything on Spotify at the time. And yeah, I remember seeing like y'all play Master Puppets. I was like, okay, badass. And so I was like, all right, I was like checking all out before I had like booked off for that one show at Vibes that I think back in January last year. But yeah, last year, right?
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I know it was early last year.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So you have a little show going on called Beyond the Ringer, right?
Through the Ringer.
Through the Ringer.
Well, it's kind of like a work in progress type of thing. It's more of like I don't really have a real name for it. I've just been kind of using like Through the Ringer, like, hey, I'm gonna take you through the ringer with While They Bled or with Dave from the Ugly Guys podcast. Like it's just kind of been like a saying or whatever.
I like it though. I think it goes well.
It's kind of sticking though, so I'm thinking that I like I said, I don't really have an official name for it, but I'm thinking that's kind of where it's going. Where I'm just gonna call it, Through the
I
Ringer.
like it though. I think it fits well, and that was a lot of fun doing that too.
We pretty much recorded our own podcast that day.
Pretty much, man. Like there was so much shit that had to get cut out of there. So, but that was a lot of fun. And even at one point, Gio was like, "Hey, man, y'all gotta start talking about something else." Like, because we were on German food for about like 5 minutes.
Dude, I don't even get me started. I can go back onto that conversation, dude. I love talking about Germany.
Dude, we will get back on that soon. Like we'll talk about it again for sure. There was something I forgot to mention about that when you were asking me about my favorite tour, and I was telling you about how I went back on my boss's bands reuniting tour, and we just did a weekend run with Vinnie Paul's bus. The little Native American rappers that were opening the show. Okay, we had no idea they were even going to be there until my boss came back, because the whole thing that day was like, we're not going to play Oklahoma, but they are getting paid. So at the same time, we're like, I don't know, we should just go back home or whatever. My boss just goes and asks, like, what's the deal? What's the lineup? It was a birthday party essentially, but he's like, let me go find out. So the rest of us are chilling on the bus, and he comes back laughing, just like Rodney, what's funny, dude? What happened? He's like, he can't stop laughing. He's like, okay, for sure it's a birthday party, and he's still laughing. He's like, there's a burlesque show, a band, and then he busts out laughing. He's like, and then there's two little rappers. I'm like, what do you mean by little? He's like, by little people. I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? I'm like, this is gonna be fucking awesome. I was like, please tell me you're playing. It's like, yeah, we're getting paid. He's paying us good money. We're gonna do the show. I'm like, yes. And then Lil Mike and Funny Bone were the shit. They were fucking awesome.
I still have, even after we talked about that last, I still haven't even seen Reservoir Dogs, and I keep wanting to watch it because I don't know if I told you that last time, but I know that the gym teacher in that show is Bill Burr, the stand-up comedian, who's my
Yeah.
favorite comedian of all time. And I'm like, I only know of that show because he's in it. Like he's talked about it on his podcast, and I'm like, that guy's funny as hell. I need to like watch that show.
Yeah, you definitely need to. It's a good one. Too bad it's only 3 seasons.
I know that's where that reference William Knifeman comes from, right?
Yep.
The Native American on the horse.
Dude, that dude makes the show just as good, dude.
Dude, he's made all the reels and stuff like just hilarious just by themselves. So I can imagine the show.
He's great. You gotta watch it.
I got to see Bill Burr, I think 2 years ago in San Antonio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's hilarious live, dude.
I think
Was
I
that the
think
Majestic Theater show?
Yeah, at well, I forgot where he played at.
Was it the Majestic Theater?
The what?
Majestic Theater.
No, it was fucking
the arena, right? The Spurs arena.
The AT&T Center, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was the I think that was the show. It was like in October, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, me and my girlfriend went to go see that show.
Yeah, dude.
That was great. I think that was the show where like I can say it now because it's on one of his specials. I'm not spoiling anything, but like it was hilarious. I remember hearing him talk about like how he took mushrooms and he was in the desert doing
Yeah.
and he was like the Rocks was his audience, and he saw this cowboy just like off in the distance, just like hello.
Yeah.
That dude's fucking awesome.
It was just so hilarious just because like he doesn't strike you as the type of guy that like does mushrooms. And so like it's just that fact alone just makes the story like ridiculous.
Oh yeah, dude.
Don't mind me. I'm gonna be I'm making another beverage for myself.
What do you make your
a little cocktail going on there?
A little Tito's vodka and some Coke Zero.
Oh yeah.
Dude, nice. Gotta watch the calories.
I call it a Lemmy Kilmister ski. Gotta add the Russian ski at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's a Russian Lemmy, not a British Lemmy.
There you go.
Yeah. James Hippo get tattooed with Lemmy's ashes.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that was so like that was so emotional just because it's like how much Lemmy meant to James and how inspirational he was to everybody in that time. And being as like a bass player, he's up there as one of the best bass player gods. And I was so thankful I got to see him live before he passed. I saw him. It was like a year or two right before he passed.
Yeah, same.
And that guy, he drove his life the way he wanted it. He didn't slow down at all. He drove his life at full speed and went so far in his life. He was like in his 70s when he died. And I'm like, who has done so many drugs in their life and continued drinking hardcore? He drank like, wasn't it like 2/5 of Jack or something like that a day?
Some shit. Yeah, some shit like that.
Morning off with the whole 5th of Jack, and then like doing that every single day into your 70s, and you still are alive. Like that is enormous. He wasn't like a big gym guy or anything. He was eating fatty foods and everything, no diet or nothing. He's just like, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
He was definitely like the last outlaw, if you think about it. He was like one of the last ones. He's probably the last outlaw like that. That's
exactly what I think. Like when I think of Lemmy, I think of like the Ace of Spades album cover where they're all in like the the dusters and cowboy hats, and they just look like they just walked out of like they're like a gang of cowboys.
Right out of the saloon.
Right out of the saloon, causing trouble.
They based Red Dead Redemption off Lemmy.
Oh yeah, that was getting back to it. Yeah, no, that was definitely fitting for James to do that for sure, and I think that was very touching. That was perfect.
If y'all could play one Metallica song with Metallica, what song would it be?
I think it's got to be being a bass player. It's got to be Orion.
Oh yeah,
That one.
Maybe
that one,
battery. Maybe battery.
Battery.
Just because it's such a killer intro song, man, and just like it's like almost pit to pit, you know.
for sure, for sure. Another one would definitely be, I think, Eye of the Beholder too.
Oh,
That one's just this fucking heavy, just moshing around.
damn, good one, good one. Chris,
Anything off of Lulu? No kidding.
Saint Anger.
No, for some reason, dude, I think it'll be cool just to fucking hang out and jam with them. Though I would do Turn the Page from Bob Seger, dude. I mean, just to play a cover song with Metallica, like a
Okay,
song
yeah.
that they like. No, I would do Turn the Page from Bob Seger with them. Like play a song that they enjoy playing because they picked it as a cover song. So I think it'd be kind of cool to do Bob Seger, Turn the Page.
I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't even a song that I was even thinking you were gonna pick. I was expecting something early, but that's a good one, dude.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I would totally do if they're like we're only gonna do Metallica songs. I'd probably just do like Creeping Death, Disposable Heroes, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, like let's play whatever. Like fuck, let's do Turn the Page. Let's fucking jam to that, dude.
Dude, Am I
Yeah.
Evil?
That'd be fucking banger too.
Yes.
That would be a fucking killer one right there.
I mean, that or if I had to pick a song, they're like I'm not gonna play any too fast, whatever. I would probably do "Leading Me." That chorus, dude. That chorus, fucking beautiful. Um,
No Leaf Clover for on the S&M album.
good one, dude.
Yeah, I wish they would totally like record that song like in the studio with the symphony too. Like do a whole like
That would be awesome.
like a symphony record, like studio recording, and make it
Ah.
like an actual thing. That would be so legit. But I also like it that it's just like the like single gem that is like they only play it live.
Dude, yes, man. It's like first time ever hearing that was on the radio, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is epic as fuck, man. Like I was shocked as a kid hearing it.
Oh yeah.
I was like, this is fucking sick.
It's funny because I never even heard it until like I think like 4 or 5 years ago. It was the same thing. Like I heard them playing it on the local New Mexico radio station, and I was just like, "What is this?" I was like, "Is this a new Metallica song?" And then like I like did the Shazam app, and it popped up, and it said S&M1, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is an old ass song that I haven't even heard of." And like,
because it came out when like 98.
Early about late 90s.
Yeah.
Their version of Hero of the Day on that live album on S&M better than the recorded one.
Yeah.
That was fucking better with the symphony with them, dude. I remember buying that CD back in the day, dude. Like I was probably like fucking 13 or 14, dude. I've ever seen that Best Buy, like, I wonder what this is. And I was jamming it the whole time, and battery on there sounds fucking phenomenal, dude. Fucking, and then like hearing Nolly Clover, like, what the fuck is this from, dude? And I was like looking it up, trying to Google it. I was like, no, it's only on this fucking. Like, wow, it's fucking. That's like one of the hidden gems, I guess. Which is, who else has done that before? And maybe some bands have that the viewers might know. But I never heard of a band doing that before. Like, let's just play this one song live and never record it,
right?
And just have it out there. I think it's an album. But other than that, that's it, dude. I mean, that's pretty
They've
sick, dude.
they've set a lot of milestones in the music industry, like stuff like that. The only band ever to play all 7 continents.
Yep.
You know, fucking they playing in Antarctica. Come on, what the fuck?
Just scientists and penguins, like
a penguin pit, dude. Shit, I would fucking totally want to see that shit.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that on National Geographic.
Sure, but I mean, have you seen it in front of Metallica?
On Instagram and plaster, like Cannibal Corpse on top of them, just running in circles.
Dude,
I was gonna say, how have you guys ever how satisfying it is for you're like a huge fan of a band, like you've heard of some songs from a really good band, and then you think you're like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of them, and then all of a sudden you start hearing like little songs that like you never really thought to like go and listen to, and then all of a sudden like you become like you're like super excited because it's like an old band from 10, 15, 20 years ago is now like you're opening like a bigger catalog of like music. I don't know if that like makes sense. Like,
yeah,
no, it does.
Like for me, it was like with Rob Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
I only really knew his like first album and some White Zombie stuff, and then I like right before me and my girlfriend went to go see him live, like I went through the Hellbilly Deluxe 2 and through his recent album, which is killer. And that guy alone, his album names are ridiculous.
Yes.
They're like 8 or 9 word long, like paragraph looking thing. It's like,
yeah.
What happened to just like the 1 or 2 word like album name? Like he's like got like a whole like rat poison juju, pussy licking venomous whatever. Like it's like it's like some weird stuff that doesn't make any sense. And like what? But like then you hear the album and it's like my favorite song off of his newest album is that song King Freak, the title 2 tracks that kind of like intertwine with each other.
Nice. I've heard that song The Howling Man or something like that. The Werewolves, something like that. I forget the name of it, but
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
I got stuck in ribs. So like, goddamn, like John 5 did not fuck around with that one, dude. Like,
John 5 is. I feel like he's a guy that's like super underrated.
Yeah,
not a lot of people talk about. I mean, he was in Marilyn Manson. He's in Rob Zombie, left Rob Zombie, and now is in Motley Crue. Like, and on top of all of that, he does his own solo tours of just him doing instrumentals.
Yeah, and like, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised when they had him replace Mick Mars from Motley Crue. One, because it's like, wow, like they got someone who has the chops for it, and 2, like he kind of fits like the image when you think about it. Like,
for sure.
He looks like the nephew of Mick Mars.
Oh shit! I never even really thought about that, man. You're you're fucking right about that.
And I'm surprised, like, wow, like he fucking. I mean, not a bad choice. I mean, keep him afloat.
For sure. I definitely think I prefer Mick to it because what I heard was like they did Mick dirty, like kicking him out. Like Mick was saying like he was kicked out, and Motley Crue was like, no, he left, and they even went through like the whole courts thing, and Mick Mars sued them and won.
Yep.
A lot of that going around if you think about it, man.
Who else was recently? Like, wasn't it like the family of Chester Bennington was trying to like sue Linkin Park for something?
Yeah, because they got a new singer and shit too, and we just had that shit happen with Power Trip, and then if you think about all the fuckery that has gone around with Slipknot and shit, and all sorts of shit, it's just like I'm like, dude, what the fuck, come on. Like,
I didn't keep up with it. Did they ever reveal the new drummer for Slipknot?
I could care less, to be honest, dude. I'm kind of done with them. That's like this hearing, like the shit they did with Joey, the shit with Paul, and now the shit with Jay Weinberg. I'm like, man, dude, like I'm done, bro. they're great musicians and shit like that, dude. But I'm done with this shit, dude. The way that clown and Corey run that shit, dude, or whoever's behind the curtain of that shit, I'm cool,
It's
bro.
just money and politics at this point.
I'm
Yeah, like,
honestly,
like, nah.
I I'm I'm definitely I'm definitely I don't know, like I disagree with a lot of things that musicians do, but at the end of the day, I'm always like, I still love that fucking guy just because of who he is. Like, for example, like Ted Nugent says some
Yeah,
crazy stuff sometimes, and some stuff makes sense, and some stuff is like, kind of calm down,
Yeah.
dude. A lot of people don't really like him. I'm like, I love
yeah,
him just because of like what he has. And in the other room, I've got 4 or 5 of his vinyl records. I've got like Free for All. We've got the Stranglehold, the State of Shock album, the Double Live Gonzo. I've got just Nugent. I love the guy. I love his music for who he is. Says some stuff that's not great,
yeah.
Who doesn't though? Like everybody's gonna say something stupid every now and then. It's fine. It's his. It's his. If it's not really affecting anybody's life like on a dramatic level, who the fuck cares? Like
Yeah.
he's allowed to see his opinion. So even
I
if it
mean,
is fucked up. Mhm.
what Kanye said, and that
Yeah.
ridiculous mess, people still love him,
Mhm. Yeah. It's crazy.
What
I think
happens? I
was
think what
that
happens is sometimes the fame gets to them and shit, dude. Like, because here
Yeah.
we are, guys. Like, some of them, not all of them, but some of them who are like working fucking hard and trying to achieve these fucking goals and their dreams and shit, and then boom, they get it, and then they're making all this money, and sure enough, here comes everything for free and shit, and then they don't have to do another hard thing ever in their life. And what the thing is that like once you lose that aspect of trying to do hard shit, like you just fucking lose your sanity in a way. You kind of just like start getting fearful of what else is out there that's maybe challenging to you, and some people don't like being challenged and shit.
You
So
get
they
spoiled.
go some people go off the rocks. Yeah, you get spoiled.
Yeah,
You just
you
fucking
get spoiled, dude. You lose fucking the ethic for the grind.
yeah. They
So it's
forget what
like,
the
when yeah, exactly. You forget where they come from and shit like that. It's like, yo, you grinded all this time and now all of a sudden you get a few freebies, you think you're king shit. King or queen
yeah.
shit. Nah, don't stop grinding. But that's just me. That's just I think it's us. It's just, we're so used to busting our ass for everything. It
Yeah.
you know, it's just gonna come to us like that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think, and I've seen it before is, people get, a little bit of, spotlight, and they just consume themselves like,
Yeah.
and their egos take over, and they that's all they see, they're like, I am the greatest, I could say whatever, nothing's gonna happen. And it's like, there you go. And stuff does happen, you get shots fired at you. And a lot of times it definitely seems like, in the light of like cancel culture, I believe it's a real thing, but then at the same time it's like, it's not really though. Like,
I feel like
people
real
get
feel allowed.
Mhm.
like, well, like when people get canceled, like what really happens is, they get, all kinds of dirt, thrown at them, on Twitter for a week or two. They lose, a couple of ticket sales and, a couple of agents and whatnot. But then, you look at them like a month later, they're still selling out shows. They're still, getting movie deals and whatnot.
Mhm. I think it also depends on the person too, and the case of what might have got them canceled or not. Also, too. That's see, and that's where the part is where it's just like it exists, but it also doesn't exist. So I kind of agree with you on there. It also just does depend on the severity of the individual's bullshit to an extent.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true too. I didn't think about that.
I mean, like some people have gotten canceled for the dumbest shit that they didn't even do, and their careers are still fucked from it. But yeah, you have some people who do the most heinous shit. They get away once, and then the next thing you know, they're fucking landing in prison. So it's like there was a warning sign first, and then you let it go, you swept it under the rug, and look what happened. It's like the whole Danny Masterson thing. So, but enough about that fucker. We don't need to talk about him any further.
Dave's like, next topic.
It's like, nah, fuck that dude.
I thought it was funny that all of his old co-hosts on that 70s show were like writing letters to the judge, like letters of accommodation or some shit. It was called. Where like they're like, hey, like no, he's a really cool dude. Like that didn't happen, and blah blah blah. And it was Mila Kunis, it was Ashton Kutcher.
It wasn't Topher Grace though.
It wasn't Topher Grace, dude. And yeah, he was on that fucking with fucking guns, and it's like, and it made sense too because you hear stories like back then where he leaves the show like on like one of the seasons and he's gonna come back to like the final episode to do a cameo basically, and like he left with like like bullshit going on the set, whatever, and it's like
yeah, they treated him like shit.
Yeah, and the fact that that Mila Kunis is like 14 in the first season is fucking insane.
Well, did you guys ever see that new documentary series that came out on HBO called Quiet on the Set?
Oh, dude, that was fucked up.
About Nickelodeon.
That was so fucked.
That wrecked me just because as a child, Drake Bell was like my idol as like a little like 6 or 7-year-old Nate. Like I loved Drake Bell just because he was funny as hell. He was huge into rock and played guitar, was a rock star on the show and a rock star in real life. And I was like, oh my God, that's like a really cool guy. I want to be just like him. And now like looking at it as like seeing that, I'm like, what the hell? Like that was so heartbreaking, dude.
That was pretty fucked up on what happened to him. And I grew up in pretty much the era prior to that, with the late 90s, all that and shit like that. The Keenan and Kel show, everything like that. And like to hear all that shit, but what happened to that dude in particular was horrible, man.
Dude, I literally was watching that and like I was like thought to myself, I'm like, I really wonder like what happened. And then like right when I thought that, he was like, was like, think about like the worst possible thing you could do to somebody. And that's what happened. And immediately I was like, probably had a beer bottle shoved up his ass. Next thing on the screen said sodomy. I was like, God damn.
Yeah,
I need to stop thinking right now. Like, this is horrible. It's getting worse by the minute.
What really got me like caught my eye was like at one point in the documentary they go, oh, by the way, this one dude take kids out to the parking lot and he would like, do stuff to them in his car and he would have engage in like sexual activity. And then they would move on back to Dan Snyder, like, dude, like, what happened to this fucking guy though? Like, hey, like, you brought him up once. That was that. Like, I feel like they could have done better with like going into not like the details, but like like into like what happened to like the rest of the dudes that were doing shit to kids and shit, and kind of like weird. It's a weird place to stand on it because like Drake Bell was like talking to a minor for years and then gets in trouble for it, for like endangering a child, or just like fuck, dude, like it's like no, that's fucked up too. What happened to it was fucked up as well. And you see all the letters that the judge got from like all the other people who were in the fucking scene making kid TV shows and shit. And then the fact that how easy it was for these fucking pedophiles to get jobs on shows that there's gonna be children on at that place, and they're gonna be like just there all the time, and the parents not always gonna be there. Obviously, they fucking said that in the documentary, saying like, they pushed Drake Bell's dad away because that dude knew how to talk to him, saying like, your dad's trying to take on the money, and his mom was probably just like, yeah, fuck, go to work, son, so we can fucking live a good life and all that shit. And it kind of sucks too, like how like some of the parents are blinded by either greed or just fucking like lack of common sense or like lack of fucking like situation awareness and shit, dude. And it's like, fuck, dude, like this time I go to town, dude, and like with my nephew or just alone or when I'm with like Nicole, like I just fucking like I have to keep my eyes peeled on my surroundings and shit because you never know who's gonna fucking snap or who's fucking. You hear stories of like women getting followed in stores and shit like that. It's happening quite a bit here too, where you'll see a post where like some chicks talking about like these dudes fucking try to stop me in the aisle or someone would follow me to my car and shit like that. It happens a lot too. And then it's just like you see videos of like kids getting snatched. You see videos of girls getting kidnapped in broad daylight too. And these fuckers will do it in broad daylight, dude. That doesn't scare you. I don't know what else will, dude. I mean, and just like, and I don't know what was going on with like back then. So like, I feel like that documentary was like, I don't want to say very one sided, but I feel like it was very, they could have had a lot more people like come out and speak on it, because you had people who were working on the set, you had people who were writers, producers, obviously the actors who were there, their parents, and and that sounds like enough, but there had to be more hands in the cookie jar, dude. And like it just sucks that they're just like keeping their silence and shit, and they're like, I don't want to get involved with it, or I don't know anything about it. I didn't know what was going on, shit like that, dude. So it's kind of be like, like working every fucking day. Like, why didn't you do anything? You're a grown ass fucking adult, and you're hearing that, this guy's doing stuff to Drake. This guy's doing stuff to Amanda, or everything going on here. What else was going on that show? And they just fucking like, oh well, my hands are tied, and it kind of pisses me off. They didn't have like the mindset to be like jump in and like, no, this is wrong. Yeah, I might lose my job, but this is wrong.
Yeah, no, that
it shows you how fucked up that whole industry is, and it's not just the Hollywood business. It's ties in everything with like the music business too. It's pretty fucked, and that's why you always gotta have like a situational awareness, kind of alert mindset to yourself. But it's kind of like what you said, Chris. It's like some of them, parent wise, even aspiring child actor wise, like they want to keep their mouth shut because like, oh, this is how they think this is how it is in the industry, and they want to do everything they can to get famous. And later on, I think it's just more trauma and more PTSD in their head, and it's just gonna fuck them up later.
Yeah, it was a hard watch, dude.
And I say that too, and I won't get too much into the details, but there was a show I was working in particular, and I heard about them bringing underage girls on the bus. I'm like, oh, fuck that. Like, nah. And I wish I had called the cops. But it was one of those things like, no, just keep your mouth shut. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
how do you stay quiet about that, Like that, like that's why you like ask yourself, like you're like, they're telling you like keep your mouth shut, and you're like, well, how? Like that's you see somebody getting beat up, you don't just like stand there and watch. You say something, you try to intervene. It's like,
yeah, and the tour manager's like, no, you better keep your fucking mouth shut. I'm just like, I was telling the guy at the show, or the promoter at the show, like, yo, man, this is some fucked up shit happening over here. And then we got into a big old dispute about it, and then I was told to leave eventually. I was like, oh, what the fuck? So for me, pretty much, I had lost money that night because of some shit. And this is a time where cell phones were barely coming out. So I was like, well, I can't fucking call anybody, fucking, I can't call the fucking cops right now. It's like, I have no fucking money on me, no nothing, and what the fuck am I going to do? I guess I better just keep my fucking mouth shut and just try to figure out a way to get home. Because I had no car either. So it was pretty fucked. I wish I had fucking said something. Eventually, I think something did end up happening. So justice got served a little bit, but I felt like I could have done something that night.
Yeah.
So,
and you can't blame yourself about it. It's just for what it happened. It happened back then.
Still, though, it was just like at the time, it was just like there was, I was still kind of like young enough to know right from wrong, and for sure, this was one of the wrong things that was happening. And the fact that I was told like, hey, you can't be here. You gotta leave. I'm like, what the fuck? Like something
Just for
bad could be
trying.
happening.
Yeah.
But like you said, can't really dwell on it now. But it's still something that sticks in the back of my head every now and then. All right, on to a lighter topic.
I was gonna say, where do we go from that?
I don't know. We got dark for a little bit, so
Hey, I could talk for hours about some deep shit, aliens.
yeah. Oh, dude, shit! Don't even get me started. Like we almost got into that over there at Rick's shop.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
We did.
We I'm not gonna lie, Chris, we contemplated, we were talking shit, and we were contemplating starting a side podcast called the Pretty Boy Podcast.
The Nate and Dave podcast, the Pretty Boys podcast.
Boys podcast. And then we're gonna do like some have like our logo like be like some anime like pretty boy like sparkle like things.
Oh my god. Oh my god, never mind. He doesn't want me to say his name on the podcast. Anyways.
I've been told a couple of times like people were like, you should start a podcast, and I'm like, I don't see myself doing a podcast just because I'm not a very like hyped up person of like things. Like a lot of people do podcasts nowadays, and I'm like, I don't really want to ride that train, That's what kind of why I'm doing like what I'm doing with like the interviews, because like one, it's to bring it's to bring a lot more awareness to like the local scene and great musicians that I've seen here in San Antonio.
Mhm.
And at the same time, it's also, like I said, it's not podcasting, but it's more, local journalism type of thing.
Yeah.
No disrespect to podcasts, I love what you guys are doing.
No, it's good, dude. Like I kind of understand where you're coming from, but this is something me and Chris have also been like talking about for like
years.
A year, maybe. Chris, I don't know. How long would you say we were going on about it? 6 months? A year, maybe? I can't remember.
No, probably about a year or so. Like we didn't really start like hanging out till like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say like probably 6-8 months maybe.
I don't even know whose idea it was. I could have swore you said something like, "Oh, maybe we should just start a podcast." Like, dude, okay. I'm not sure who said it.
I want to say
I don't even know.
Remember you saying like, dude, like we should just fucking start podcasting. Like we can talk forever about random shit. And we were late, so it's like, yeah, let's see what we can do. And then eventually we're just like, well, we would start talking about it, like over like texting and whatnot, and then like we just get ideas, and then it started manifesting and growing. And eventually we're like, here's the, because I had a different name than you did. I was like, well, I'm fine with whatever one. I'm not picky. Where I wanted to call it the Heavy Metal Commandments.
Oh yeah.
Where every episode is gonna be like a commandment, like for like metal and shit, like not like rules, but like stuff to abide by and shit. Like
that is true.
It's gonna be silly shit, like like thou shalt pick thy brother up from the pit or shit like that. A little stupid shit like that.
Thou shalt not drink all the bottled water in the green room.
Or steal the fucking cooler.
Now here's one. Thou shalt not piss on the fucking green room toilet seat.
Oh god, yeah.
I've had that shit happen. I got fucking pissed. I was like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we got one toilet.
I will not rat out the venue.
Do it. Rat out the venue.
There was the venue is fuck. I love the venue. But there is one venue I played at, and in the green room, they had from like the ceiling light, the light, how it had like the string like to pull,
Yeah.
At the end of it was a used bloody tampon. And like we were in the green room, like I didn't notice it for the while because it was kind of like high up on the thing, but
Yeah.
like just above your head. And like we walked in, and, like I was just chilling in there, and like just me casually being ADD, just like looking around. I looked at it, and I was like, "Is that a tampon?" And then I looked closer, and I was like, "Is that a used tampon?" I got up and like, kind of like kept my distance, but I was like looking at it. I was like, walked out of that green room and never went back in there. I was like, "Fuck that."
I'm taking my fucking base equipment. I'm fucking going home. Fuck this.
I'm not setting my beer down at all. Don't put it anywhere.
That's funny.
So what venue was this? No.
I'll tell you what. Again, the venue's a dope venue.
It better be dope. It better be fucking dope.
I liked it. Dope to me.
Okay. I can't wait to hear it.
Well, you've probably been to like so many like extremely high up great venues. So
I've been from the lowest to the low to maybe some of the higher ones.
I would say like, all right, I would say
I've worked at some really good ones.
I would say this one's kind of like in the middle.
I like the middle ones probably the most.
Okay. All right, there. You get a little even ground of it.
But like the really shitty venues like usually have like the best stories.
Mm.
They usually do.
That's true. I remember we played at this country bar in Albuquerque, New Mexico called the Dirty Bourbon.
I think I heard of that place.
Apparently back in like the 90s it used to be I love this type of like fun facts. Like it used to be in the 90s, it used to be like a rock bar.
Mm-hmm.
And early on, that was where like I think they said Alice in Chains played there like in their early days, like barely before facelift. Like they were touring, and I was like losing my mind. And,
Wow.
I'm like, this obviously isn't the same stage or whatever, but I'm like, this is the same place that, Lane Staley sang on. Jerry Cantrell was like running around on. Like, I'm like losing my mind. Like, I love little things like that when people were like, Metallica's played here like one time for like a private gig. I'd be like, what?
That's how it was in Seattle, dude. When I went to go visit Seattle, I went to go stop by like all these different like bars and like dive ass fucking venues that Alice in Chains and Soundgarden had played at and shit. I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Seattle's a pretty dope place.
Especially up there, there's just so many venues, historic venues. You got the Paramount Theater up there.
Yeah, they got a lot, dude. And I went by Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee's grave too. So
see that when I lived up in Seattle, well, not Seattle, but about like I think it was a couple hours away from Seattle. I lived there for like about 6 months, and I regret I didn't get to go see Kurt Cobain's grave or Jimi Hendrix's grave. And I was like,
you know what? I didn't get to go see them either while I was up there.
I did, however, get to go see Ronnie Van Zant's grave though out in Florida.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, me and my mom went out there for like my 16th birthday, and because she was born and raised out there, and yeah, we went to her brother is buried out there, so we went to go there, pay our respects. But then my mom was like, "I want to show you something." And like we went around like off the path and everything, and then yeah, there's Ronnie Van Zant's grave. I was like, "No way, this is so cool!" Like I paid my respect.
Sick.
Yeah.
Is there any piece of like metal merch you always want to own that you've never owned before?
Why are you offering to buy me something?
Maybe.
You're gonna have to. It's gonna have to be a pretty penny for you. I've always Merch or memorabilia?
Oh, anything. It's something that me and David talking about, like shirts that from bands that we never owned before. Like it was like he wanted it, like anything from Bolt Thrower. Like mine was like the old Metallica shirt from the Black Album tour where it had all the album covers put together.
Right.
Black Album before. But like anything like that or any music memorabilia too would be kind of cool too.
Okay, so merch, I've always been meaning to get it, and I can get it. I just keep forgetting to do it, and I keep putting it off. I need to get a Number of the Beast t-shirt, an Iron Maiden Number of the Beast t-shirt. I never have owned one, and I'm like, that is my favorite Iron Maiden album. I don't know why I don't own it. I have the back patch on my first vest. I need that t-shirt. So that would be a memorabilia probably. Um, or sorry, merch. Memorabilia wise, I want the original pressing of Ride the Lightning, the green album.
Yeah.
I want that so much, dude. I've been looking everywhere for it. I've been I've got that on my list of things that, like, if I have the money for it and I find it and it's not something that's too good to be true, I'm getting it, and I'm probably gonna put it in like a frame and hang it right on the wall.
Me and Chris talked about this. We recorded another podcast, I think Monday, and we were talking about that pressing. And I've now confirmed one of my buddies has it.
Oh,
Tell him
nice.
that I will buy it from him.
He's not selling it.
I don't know anyone who would.
I told him, I was like, people would pay good money for that. He's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no,
You
I
know,
wouldn't. I would.
I thought about it earlier. I was like, I'm gonna ask Nate that on the podcast because I thought about one piece of music memorabilia that I wanted when I was younger, and now that I thought about it, I was like, oh, I haven't thought about that in a while. It'd be kind of cool to own, and I would like to own the guitar pick from Randy Rhoads.
That's a good one. That's a
I'm
good
gonna have to one up that one. I'm gonna have to one up that one.
Fuck you.
No. Fuck you. Let me kill my guitar picks.
I mean, that'd be cool too.
Who was it?
Let me.
Oh.
And no, wait, his cowboy hat.
Oh my god, that's sacrilegious.
Okay, how about
memorabilia? Mm-hmm.
I could go hours.
What's that?
I could go hours. Sorry, I keep cutting you guys off. What was that, Chris?
I would like his left boot.
No. I mean, he has a nice left leg, I heard. I don't know.
I could go hours on this. How about the last drumstick that John Bonham used at the last Led Zeppelin show that he played?
Oh, hey, that's fucking crazy. That would be crazy to own, dude.
I don't know how you would track that down.
That would be fucking cool to own, dude.
I got nothing right now. Wait, hold on.
I would like a pick from Chuck from Duff, dude.
Why not one of his guitars?
Oh man, I'm not worthy.
It would be too scared to touch it.
Well, it's like touching one of Eddie Van Halen's guitars too. It's like, I don't know if I could touch this.
I mean, he's selling that. His nephew's selling that green guitar, which I'm like, fucking hey, dude. His green still. But man, a pick from him, dude. I mean, that would be fucking dope as fuck, dude. I would say a pick from Dime, but I got one already. Thank you, Dave.
No problem, brother.
I was gonna say one too, and I totally spaced out. Oh, sorry, there's birds outside my window.
I thought he was gonna be like, oh, we haven't been recording this whole time.
Oh, sorry. And here we go. No, I wouldn't mind because I touched it at a show before, but the dude in front of me fucking yanked it from my hand. because he was like 3 times my size. A drumstick from Vinny Ball.
Oh man.
But
Dude,
the fact I got to touch it was like more than enough.
I have a similar kind of story. It's actually how I got my drumstick. Was I got one of Sean Kinney's drumsticks from Alice in Chains,
Ooh.
Damn.
and it it was I was so grateful for it because I was front row up against the railing, like front row at Alice in Chains and Corn. And at the end of the show, Sean Kinney throws the drumstick, and literally me and this guy right next to me, we both catch it together. He's holding on to one side and I'm holding on to the other, and I'm not letting go. I look at him and he's like, I'm not letting go, and we're just like, me and this guy are literally sitting here holding a drumstick together for like a good couple of minutes.
Dude, you should have just started. So he backed up.
Finally, I told him,
Punch him in the dick.
I was like, bro, I need this. I literally, I remember telling him, like, bro, I need this. Because Alice in Chains is one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah.
They through so much, shit that I've been through. And I'm like, dude, I need this. I was like, please. I was like, I promise you, if I get anything anything else from this concert, I was like, I will definitely give it to you. And the guy just like looked at me and shook his head, and then he just let go. I was like,
wow.
I got it. But I kept my word. I kept my word. I caught like 3 picks from Monkey.
Nice.
Corn. I caught like 3 picks. I kept 2. I told him, I was like, here you go, man. I told you I would give it to you. And he was like, because he didn't catch anything. He didn't get anything. So I gave him one of Monkey's picks. Because it wasn't like one of his like he played. It was at the end of the show he had the cup and they were just throwing picks everywhere. But he ended up not getting one, so I gave him a pick and I was like, here you go, man. And he was like, thanks, I appreciate it. We hugged it out and went our separate ways. But
that's a good dude, man. You're a good dude, Nate.
I'm a man of my word.
You know what? Chris would usually ask this, but I want to kind of make this a mandatory question. What was your first band T-shirt, if you can remember it?
The birds are gone. God damn it.
I believe the first band T-shirt I ever owned was either an AC/DC Back in Black shirt,
mm-hmm.
or somehow it was like some weird. I remember it was like some weird Green Day shirt. Because
okay.
It didn't really have anything to do with Green Day. What it was, I think, was like a blue. It was like a blue T-shirt. This was when I was like a little kid, like 5 or 6 maybe. I remember it was like a blue T-shirt and in gold lettering it said Green Day.
Huh.
And it was in like a basic. It was in like a basic font. It wasn't like the Nookie or Dookie.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Limp Bizkit. It was in like the Dookie kind of like green lettering. It was just regular like Arial kind of font, and it was if you looked at it, you would literally be like, I don't think that has anything to do with the band. I don't know what that is.
Huh. So it might have been like one of the early things, maybe.
I was thinking it was, we got it at a flea market that some person just printed in the garage. They're like Green Day.
I should start doing that, just bootlegging and selling shirts. But I can't do it.
Put Metallica, but in just like cursive writing or something like that.
No, do the.
I always want to do the Metallica and the Megadeth font.
About to say that. God damn it.
Sorry.
We're pulling out our knives. I see, Chris.
All right, yeah. No, I found my sharpening stone. So as we've been talking, I've been like this.
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, you know what? I can sharpen it now, but I started sharpening during the fucking the Drake metal station shit we're talking about, and I was like, man, dude, I gotta fucking focus on something else because I'm getting angry. But it's sharp now. Nate, you missed your knife. I'll sharpen it. Put it to the phone.
Actually,
I'll just start sharpening my knife.
Start a fire. I don't know what we did, but we did something.
Lens is all scratched up.
Have you ever had a? This is gonna go off topic. What kind of did you keep that tampon? No, I'm just kidding. Did you ever have like a
I
glitch
cut
in the
it off
matrix?
with that exact knife, dude.
I hang it at the end of my base. I play for keep. No, have you ever had, like a glitch in the matrix moment, like at a show?
Define. All right, wait. Define what you mean by that. Like,
So I got a story from one of our first shows. So we're getting ready on stage, we're moving the gear, and like I usually like I'll get my gear set up first, and then I'll go help out Justin or whoever else needs help getting their gear set up, and then we'll start doing sound check. And just to make sure that I'm not in the way of anything. So setting up my amp, plug in the amp head to the cab, it's mic'd up. I go to plug in my pedal board, and I plug in my guitar, and I'm tuning whatever, and then I turn the tuner off. I put the pedal board on, like I put the volume up, and then like I don't hear shit going through my cab, and I'm like, fuck you. When I go, I'm not running any batteries. All going through the 9-volt plug-in. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm looking, I was like, man, like the fuck. And I look back at the pedal board, and the amp, the pedal board isn't plugged into the amp. And I remember that's the first thing I did was plug in the pedal board, set it down, and nobody yanked from the cables or anything. But the only way it could be unplugged was from the top of it, which was facing towards the crowd, and nobody else went through there. Nobody else walked around it, whatever. And I was like, what the fuck? I was tripping out bad. I was like, well, it can't be that drunk. Because I remember plugging that in first, and it needs to be plugged in so it can power up too.
right.
So I was like, fuck you. And then like I looked back and I was just like, well, I'll fucking plug it back in, and then plugged it in, and we're good to go. But it was just like, I swear to God, like I fucking plugged it in right away. It was my routine, get the amp going. All right, plug in the pedal board, and it was going good. And then out of nowhere, like it had like no fucking sound, and it was never plugged in. And
Okay.
I leave it plugged in too. I leave the cable wrapped up inside. It's plugged in already. So all I gotta do is plug it into the amp and then plug in my guitar, and we're set. We're set, dude. So like, you had anything like that before or at a show, or even like in general, like because some shit like that happens sometimes where they're called glitches in the matrix, like
Mhm. So I do a lot of stupid shit in life, so it's happened before. Like where I'm just like, why I swear I did this. Like, starting loading, putting a load of laundry in, and then either starting a load, and then after you start the load, you're like, I didn't put soap in there. And you just like ran water through your clothes. I've done that. Specifically at a show. I've done the same thing. Well, not same thing, but similar. Like, how there's an instrument side to your pedals, and then there's the amplifier side to your pedal.
yeah.
I had that. I remember at one of the Powerhouse shows I played at. I forgot which one it was. It was one of the early shows. I had the cable switched, and I didn't think about it.
Oh shit.
And so my guitar was plugged into the amp side, and the amp side was plugged into the guitar side. Like, and I was like turned it on, and I was like playing. I'm like, what the hell? I've got no sound. What the hell? I was like, I didn't blow my speaker. I was like, what the hell? And I went like, was unplugging, plugging it back in, unplugging, plugging it back in, unplugging the power, supply, plugging it back in. Couldn't figure it out. I don't remember how I figured it out, but somehow I guess I just like decided to try and flip them, and that's exactly what it was. I just had the cables plugged in the wrong way.
It
Nice.
happens.
Definitely done that.
Right after that, I was just like, I am the biggest idiot ever.
Oh man.
What about you, Dave? What give me a Matrix glitch in the Matrix story.
I've been one of the fortunate ones that hasn't really had too big of an issue except for a faulty cable.
Yeah.
So because I only played through like a tuner and a Tech 21 Sansan preamp.
There you go.
So I didn't have much, and all I've had was faulty cables, and that's only happened twice.
Nice.
So I've been one of the fortunate ones. So we'll see what happens when I get back on stage. So I'm pretty sure some juju's coming my way. So
I'll be your tech, Dave. No worries.
my hero,
I got you, dude.
my boy.
I'll do guitar tech duties too. I don't give a shit. That'll be fun.
What's that?
I'll do guitar tech duties too. That'll be fun. If it wasn't for like metal music, or you know what? Before I ask that, like, give me some of your influence, man. Like, what got you into this music, man? Like, that should have been one of the earlier questions we asked at the beginning of the podcast. But we just got sidetracked so hard.
Normal conversation with all of us.
Our conversations have taken left turns after right turns after left turns, and I love it too. I love this.
Yeah.
Our interview was just like that.
Very much.
Hey, let's get back on topic.
So I definitely want to say, and when I first started playing music, I first started playing guitar, just in my bedroom. I was definitely like huge into Eddie Van Halen, James Hetfield, Angus Young was a big one, Joe Perry. Those were a lot more of like my earlier influences guitar wise. I definitely wasn't much of a shredder type of guy. Definitely a lot more of a rhythm player as far as guitar wise. Once I became more into, bass playing, a lot of my inspirations were a lot more of like, Cliff Burton, obviously, Jason Newsted, Lemmy. I've even gotten as far as like Bootsy Collins, funky.
Oh, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Parliament, man.
That fucking deli, dude. George Clinton.
Right?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Trying to think of like more obscure, like non-metal influences that I've had,
Primus. No.
Honestly, actually, I'm not a Primus guy. I really don't like
no.
a whole lot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Mike Inez and Mike Starr from Alice in Chains.
Mike Inez, hell yeah.
Vocals, I would say, all right, here, I'm gonna give you a vocal influence of mine that's non-metal. This is kind of like my guilty pleasure. I love her so much. She's got a beautiful voice. Alanis Morissette.
Nice. Oh yeah.
I like that answer.
I rocked the shit out of Alanis Morissette. I love blasting her music, dude.
I don't know why. I thought you were gonna say Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, dude, I've definitely gotten huge into Stevie Ray Vaughan since moving here to Texas. Not because of Texas, I've always liked some of Stevie's music, but I don't know what it was. I'm easily influenced, is I guess how I could put it. And so, I listen to Bill Burr's podcasts all the time, like religiously. I know like he was a big, Stevie Ray Vaughan fan, and he always likes talking music about Stevie Ray Vaughan and AC/DC and Led Zeppelin. So I'm like, I should really listen to a lot more Stevie Ray Vaughan. And that was right after he moved here. So now I'm more inclined to Stevie Ray Vaughan for sure.
Man, I think he's even brought it up with Sugar one time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
As a drummer, I remember he was talking about that song "Bleed,"
Yeah,
which is brutal, dude. Such
a
a
fucking brutal song.
brutal song.
It's fucking brutal band too. Shit.
Oh yeah, dude. Those are some good influences. I definitely see it in your playing, and like and again, like I look forward to hearing some new tunes for you someday, dude, man. Hopefully soon. I hope you get back on that horse and you just fucking start wailing back on that bass, dude, or guitar, dude. I wouldn't mind seeing you shred on guitar, dude. See what you got, man. You know.
Honestly, I've been debating kind of picking up like, a rhythm side of, originally like uh I wanted to get into like, I think I told both of you I wanted to get into playing like in a alternative metal band
Mhm.
rather than thrash
Yeah.
metal. And I was thinking about either like sticking with bass in that or going more towards just a rhythm guitar, route with that. And I never really made up my mind. And I still want to do that. It's just time and getting a lot of
Yeah.
like personal things in order. And
You'll get
uh,
there eventually, man.
I'm not very good at time management for myself.
Bro.
I'm one of those guys that like I'll book a dinner with you and then I've got a date with my girlfriend that same time and then my best friend's birthday party is at the same time and I'm like I got like four things booked all at the same time. That's definitely me, dude.
You're preaching to the choir there, brother.
Oh,
Like I can't. My time management it's shit right now.
You know what?
But
I Speaking of time management and one of the worst shows, going back to one of the worst shows I've played. It wasn't one of the worst shows I necessarily. Well, it kind of was actually. There wasn't a whole lot of people there, but one of the worst shows I regret playing was I accidentally booked a show on my girlfriend's birthday,
oh,
and I don't know why I didn't think about it, but they were like, hey, we got a show on this date, and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And then my girlfriend literally told me like the week before, she's like, hey, when's your show? And I'm like, next Saturday. And she's like, you realize next Saturday is my birthday, right? And I was like,
oh, Nate.
how did I let this happen? And I I still beat myself up for that, right? And I I that was a real big mess up. I
I gotta
believe,
say that.
I believe she found out on Facebook too. She didn't even find out through me. She was, I think so. I was like, I didn't even tell her, which makes it even more like suspicious. Like I didn't tell her. Like I deviously planned it, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so horrible.
Y'all still together now, so I mean, it says something.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of making up for. Let me tell you that.
I gotta say, you know, which was I'm glad we're finally doing the podcast together with you. I gotta say a big thank you to you, Nate, because like there's times where we would play shows for Wally Bled, and when you were Powerhouse, you wouldn't be the Powerhouse wouldn't be booked for those shows, and you would still come out and jam with us, dude. So for
For
that,
sure.
I thanks, dude, because you're one of like the first fans of us from like outside of reality to come out and just like show support and like jam with us and rage with us. And you get pics, you get videos, and you got the merch. And I was gonna say thank you, man. That means a lot to me. So thank you.
For sure, man. And again, that's where I'm really wanted to get at with this, new music journalism thing that I'm doing is, I love local bands like, While They Bled. And I wanna expose that a lot. I wanna get you guys out there and, unfortunately it's me starting with starting at the bottom, starting, trying to just build up my credibility, and
Yeah.
eventually, I want to try and, you know, like I said, just report on as many of local bands as I can, and even eventually move on to local bands outside of Texas or outside of San Antonio, just, underground bands, break, telling their story and telling, supporting their music. That's ultimately what music in general is about.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude,
Whether
you're giving these bands an outlet. You're getting their voices heard, dude. And regardless if you're just starting out, dude, like say like a year from now, dude, and you've done already like say you did like 200 interviews already, and someone's already on the 200th video, they can go back and see like, oh wow, he was doing this band, episode 2, episode
yeah,
3, and they can be like, look at they're at now, dude. Like he got them when they were up and coming. So every time you do an interview with a band, like that's always gonna be in the archives for like when someone Googles them or checks them on YouTube or whatever, and it's gonna pop up and it's gonna be you. And then they're gonna find other local bands through you from looking up that one band. It's just a big web, dude. It's a big like connection, dude.
for
And
sure.
you going in at it, it's fucking awesome, dude. And it's, I'm grateful that you're taking that head on, dude, and you're fucking just giving these bands fucking voice, dude. Because not many people are out there, giving them chances and shit.
For sure. And I mean, like I said, While They Bled is, you guys were really like one of the first bands that I heard of, when we moved out here. You guys were the first band to put us out on the show. And I respect you for it, and I respect, what you guys have done for us. And you know, you got I've always just loved the local talent. It's so much pure raw angst in it. And it doesn't take much to support a band. It's a share or a comment and a like on social media. It's
Mhm.
promoting their shows. If I can't go, I'll promote your show still. If anything, 10-15 bucks, just to get into the show and hang out and talk to you guys and share a beer. It's little things like that. Buying the merch. I know firsthand, that's what supports bands, when, people, the money aspect of it, and merch, you're sponsoring, you're advertising, the band. At the same time, you're funding the band to get more merch to sponsor them. But, if money's an issue, sharing, your
Yeah.
social media,
Yeah.
that's the freest, cheapest option you can go that still does so much for bands.
Yeah. Like liking, sharing, commenting on a post goes a long way because it shows people who that person commented and then they check it out and
For
so
sure.
on. It's just a crazy waterfall effect of what like how social media plays into like bands trying to get out there and shit. And like it's sometimes tricky trying to figure out the algorithm and whatnot. But like just like exactly like sharing it, like just sharing a video, tagging that person or artist or whatever,
Mhm.
and way dude, and like you're one of them, dude. I would think again, like you would always like go to the shows when we go out there. We would share the flyers, tag us on posts whenever we would be playing together. It was a long way, dude. And I never forgot that. So I appreciate it.
For sure. I appreciate you, Chris.
Dave, you're cool too.
Dave, you're over there. We love you, buddy.
Thanks, guys. I mean, I only print your t-shirts, Chris, and you know,
You mean shirts like this one, big boy? Oh, dude. Okay, cut that out.
no, it's all right. That was a one-off. All right, it was a gift. So nobody asked me for shit. Nobody.
Everybody asks Dave for everything.
You're the shit of me, Nate.
It's like, I was gonna print Nate some t-shirts, but fuck that guy now. Actually, you know what? No, I do. I want to print you some shirts that says "Through the Ringer."
Oh, dude, that'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for you, man.
I was thinking about doing something like that, and I haven't, because I don't know what to really call what I'm doing, because like there's
Mhm.
like it's a form of journalism
Yeah.
is how I've been describing it as, but I don't know if it should be like through the ringer enterprises or productions or
Mhm.
like the little tag after, like what to call it, and then like I want to have my logo and everything, but like
Yeah.
it's super early and into what I'm doing, like that, like originally like I just wanted to do this just as kind of like touching on it a little bit, like just trying to like dip my feet into the water, is this something that I
Yeah.
really want to do, and that's kind of what I started doing with the last few interviews I did, was like really getting my feet wet on it, and seeing how, if I'm interested in it, or if it's something that I'm just gonna kind of like be like, yeah, a month later I'm not gonna want to do it. And
I hear you.
it definitely is an interest for me, and I definitely think I want to keep doing it. So right now it's just kind of like really solidifying that name, and then coming up with a logo and design and whatnot for me.
Well, you let me know when you get your logo, dude. I'll print you. I'll print you the first 6 on me. At least have some for you, your girlfriend, your camera guy whose name I can't fucking say right now because he fucking asked us not to.
What's his name?
What's his name?
Leo. Was it Leo?
Pendejo.
I want to.
But just to show a little bit of support, because I mean I've done that for friends. Like, okay, my friend, for instance, Cloud Kill Productions. She just got her website started. She's also into music journalism, but she's also focusing on like South America because she's from Lima, Peru. So I was like, you know what? I printed her like 6 t-shirts just on the house. I was like, you know what? You're getting your feet wet. I like what you're doing. Bam, here's some t-shirts for you.
And
You're a
that's
saint.
that's dope, dude. And that's again, going back to what I was saying, that's another form of like support,
Yeah.
local artists, helping other local artists.
I try my best to be honest with you. Like I try my best to try to help out everybody in any way I can. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. And then there's sometimes people want to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give them an
And
inch, they take a
they
mile.
take a mile. Yeah. And I go back and forth sometimes, like what you were just saying is like, oh, do I want to do this or not want to do this? Kind of deal. It's like for a while I felt like that about this podcast. I was like, do I need to be doing this? Should I do it? And maybe Chris could find somebody better to do this with,
No. I refuse.
But the more me and him are doing it, the more like it's enjoyable. And it's like the guests we plan to have on. And, we got you on here finally. It was just like, the plans we have for it, it's like, it's exciting. So it gives me like a new motivation. It's like the new band I'm in too, which I have offered Nate a spot in, but he kindly told me to fuck off. No,
Okay.
he didn't.
I will. That I didn't want to. I didn't want
Huh?
to bring it up. I didn't want to bring it up because I wasn't sure if that was something.
Well, no, I told Dennis about it too, and Dennis was like, "Oh, I mean, because I had brought it up because like if we needed a bass player, I was like, well, I know Nate. I'm just not sure if he's busy with anything else. But I understand where you were coming from, but as far as like, not quite just yet. Maybe a couple fill-in shows if you need it. I'm like, okay, that's more than enough.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. Is I was gonna say, but like I said, I didn't know if you wanted me to bring it up or not.
Oh, it's fine. Dennis and Eric don't give a shit. They thought it was cool.
Even like hopping on stage for like we do a cover. If I do a cover song with you guys and just do a feature song like that live, like I'm way too for that.
Yeah. In fact, we've actually been trying to. We got a song we're working on as far as the cover goes.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna say just yet, so I'll tell y'all when we stop recording.
Dude, fuck
But
yeah.
huh?
Fuck yeah. I'm excited, dude.
Yeah, you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. But But yeah, like I said, I always try to help out when I can, and like even if that's trying to like give like your first batch of t-shirts a discount or something.
Mhm.
You know, I want to try to help. I want to try to help out local artists as much as I can. It's not always gonna be the case, but I mean, I'm willing to try at some point.
And that's exactly like, I keep touching on it. I'm sorry, we're trying to end the.
No, no, you're fine.
Yeah, that's like the old producer that we used, Ken Riley. He he had a deal, like he's an up and up there kind of, recording producer. He's a very professional guy. He's done
Mhm.
work for a lot of, well-known comedians and musicians and whatnot. And he's, in New Mexico, he's like, I give a huge deal to local artists than what I do to nationwide acts, because I love what local artists do, and he wants to support local artists. So if you're local to New Mexico, he's willing to give you a deal
Yeah,
just because he loves the local scene so much, and he's got good quality, uh producing.
yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
So,
If you
that's
could
always
fill in
good
for
to have.
you can fill in space for any band, what band would it be?
What was that?
If you can fill in for bass for any band in the world, what band would that be?
I keep wanting to go Metallica, but I want to go somewhere else with this.
So if it's Metallica and it could be another band too, what other band would it be?
All right.
'Cause I
So
think
besides Metallica, I definitely want to say Tool. I would love.
Ooh,
I expect
I never said that. I forgot to say it. I mean, just Tool's music is a big influence on me for sure as a bass player.
fuck yeah! I like that answer.
totally though they get stoned is watch play two all day bass.
I missed them last time they came up to Austin, but tickets were really, really expensive for me. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll try it next time.
I'm cool with YouTube videos for now.
Yeah.
It's free on YouTube.
Right.
I was pretty disappointed last time I saw Tool because it was just James or Maynard behind the fucking screen with the light showing on him. All you see is a shadow.
Silhouette.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that because of his he's got like a light sensitivity thing, doesn't he?
Oh, I
Huh.
had no idea.
I know I thought I heard that like he's got like a thing where it's like he can like he's what is it? Like he's subjected to, or he can have like seizures.
Oh shit, he's like epileptic or what?
I know. I forgot. I read it somewhere. It might have been on like Wikipedia, so it could be complete bullshit. But I think he's got like some sort of seizure thing. Like it stems from when he was in the army or something like that, or the
Fuck,
marine.
I had no idea.
I thought that's why he's kind of like always like off to the side of the drum set, in the back. It's because like the lights are going on, so he's kind of behind the lights, so it's not bothering him. But I thought I
Hmm.
recently saw him like up front on the
No,
stage with Perfect Circle.
no, that's exactly what I mean though. It's like I've seen him. I've seen pictures of him on stage in front of people. Like, okay, he's throwing on a show, but I don't know if it was for a certain theatric theme or some shit. I mean, I don't know. He's a very theatrical person.
Very much with the
So
lights and makeup and stuff.
yeah, like I don't know like what the fuck was up with this one. I'm just like, okay.
I was literally telling my girlfriend today that like he's so like interesting. Like I
Yes.
have on like podcasts and stuff. He's the most like level-headed, like normal, sensible guy, And then you see him on stage where he's got like some weird goofy mohawk and some like crazy like eyeliner around his eyes, and he's wearing like a dress or whatever. He's like doing some shock rock stuff, and you're like, what? Like, this is like two different personalities taking over.
And then he'll fucking choke your ass out because he's like a brown belt or a black belt in jiu-jitsu now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you ever see that video where like the fan got on stage and he walked up and just like took him out and got him in like a headlock and just like kept
Got right in a guillotine. I'm just like, oh shit.
and kept singing, kept going.
Yeah, I was like, God down there.
Yeah, there's no way I'm rolling with that dude.
Yeah, dude. What are you jamming to nowadays, Nate?
Mostly lately I don't know why, but I've been in a huge alternative metal like vibe. Like I've been like I've got a let me pull up my playlist. Let me read you off a lot of the bands that I've got that I've been listening to. Today specifically I was listening to a ton of Nickelback.
Fuck yeah. They got a couple tracks, man.
Oh, they
got some tracks.
I've always been a big fan of them, and I've never been quiet about it. Like I've always loved Nickelback.
Like, I'm not gonna say I've always been quiet about it, but there's quite a few songs. There's a good handful of songs I don't fucking care for, of course, but there's a good handful of songs I do care for. The last couple albums, they had some really heavy shit. I was like, whoa, where the fuck was this?
I just love Chad Kruger's voice. Excuse me, can't speak. Chad Kruger's voice. His vocals are like so like raspy and like sharp, and I don't know. I love it.
I'll tell you what, that Spider-Man song he did with Josie Scott from Saliva. Fuck.
Dude, that I always say that's the anthem of my childhood right there, dude.
Dude, fuck yeah, dude. Because I was just like, I was really young when that movie came out. I'm like, dude, this fucking song kicks ass.
I remember having that on like DVD or VHS. I think it was DVD at the time.
I had it on DVD, and like I always play that fucking music video.
I was gonna say like all the way in the settings of the special features, they had the music video for it.
Yeah.
I would listen to that on repeat. So as far as the playlist, I've been listening to Creed, Live, Limp Bizkit, On Point, Seether, Chevelle, Mudvayne, Slipknot, Stain, Korn, Creed. I said Creed. Static X. Just a lot of just heavy alternative.
You are listening to my high school playlist.
Yeah, just a lot of that. That I think that's pretty much everything I've been getting into. Really delved deep in the Creed stuff now that they did the reunion, which I'm pissed because again, finances wise, can't afford the tickets for it. It's like
it's fucking sold out though.
Oh yeah, they're sold out.
Fucking sold out. I'm like, what the fuck?
I think they're having the first reunion show today on like some cruise or something that I thought I saw on Instagram.
They were showing pictures of it. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I wouldn't mind seeing them.
Yeah.
I've never got to see Limp Bizkit back in the day.
I don't know. They're coming to New Mexico. So I'm supposed to be going to New Mexico in June.
Mm-hmm.
My birthday. I'm going to be going from June 7th to the 10th. And I was so excited because I looked it up. I was like, I wonder what concerts are going to be going on while I'm there. I found out the day we get there, Red Hot Chili Peppers are playing there. And I was like, that would be such a cool, birthday concert to go to. I grew up on the Red Hot Chili Peppers. My mom loved, she loved playing the Blood Sugar Sex Magic song or album. Yeah. And so that was the album I knew by Red Hot Chili Peppers. And so I was like, I would love to go see that. looked it up. Like nosebleed tickets are like $300 there. And I'm like, no.
Ah,
Yeah, I was like, yeah, maybe not.
no, I don't know. No, fuck that. You can do a lot more with $300. So
Right. I think I paid like somewhere around like 270 or so for my Metallica tickets, and that got me like a special package where I got like a free Metallica hat, a free like limited edition poster for the show.
yeah. Is that the most expensive you paid for a ticket? Like the
For sure. I think that was definitely the most expensive. It's not the most expensive I would go though. I told myself next time I see Metallica, I'm gonna get like the upfront, like front row tickets, which would
and that's
probably
like what, $1,000?
it'd probably be about $1,000. So I'm like, I'm willing to do it because
Yeah.
it's
It's a once in a lifetime experience almost at this point.
oh yeah. Once I catch James Hetfield's pick or Lars's stick, that's where I'm just like, all right, I don't need to go to any more concerts.
Had his boot.
I had when I saw Metallica, I fought over I think 3 or 5 guys for Kirk's guitar pick, dude. And I ended up fucking getting it, dude.
I remember I thought I remember you telling me that too.
Like, I was somewhere around here. It's in the frame somewhere. But yeah, dude, life or death, dude. Like these fucking dudes are swinging and shit, and we're shoving each other. And one dude was trying to pull my fucking hair, and I was throwing elbows back and shit. It was fucking gnarly, dude.
He pulled the fucking bitch street fight move and he pulled the fucking hair.
Yeah, dude, he fucking I fell home like that, dude, and I fucking just like threw my elbow back, dude, and
Motherfucker. That's a fucking bitch move if I ever fucking heard one.
That is straight up like pounding time right there with
Yeah. Fucking pull my hair, I'll fuck you up like that. Like, nah, that's a good way to get me pissed off.
yeah, you don't do that unless it's like a life or death situation. You're getting
Yeah.
bumped by some guys
If we're gonna throw fists, don't pull my fucking hair.
but I didn't want to back it and get my mind off the prize, my eye off the prize, and I ended up fucking getting the prize, dude.
Good.
You're more determined than I am, sir.
Yeah, I would.
I hit something, hit someone, and then they let go, and I was like, I'm assuming it was him, and just kept going for it, dude.
They would have started pulling on my hair, and I'd be like, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
Yes, daddy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's your craziest?
What's that?
What's your craziest concert experience, man?
Craziest concert experience. All right, craziest, like it was insane, was we got pit tickets for Slipknot, or not Slipknot, Slayer on their final tour.
Oh wow.
That was so being like, I don't know, 15, 20 feet away from Gary Holt was crazily insane. Just seeing like him like fucking whipping his head so fast, the pyro just going off, and you're just like your face is just getting heated.
Man.
And then literally like a couple of days later, I came down with like bronchitis because it was in the fall and it gets cold in New Mexico during the fall. So I was just doing nothing but breathing in like cold air.
Fuck.
Yeah. So that was the craziest concert I probably went to. Craziest fun concert that was like just like wild was definitely Rob Zombie, because that was interesting, because so at that show it was in this order. It was Power Man 5000, Static X, Mudvayne on the reunion tour after 20 years,
What?
and then Rob Zombie's. This was their his first leg of the Freaks on Parade tour.
Ah,
And so, you've got, this like disco metal Power Man 5000, which was really cool.
they're good
And
live, man.
and then the disco, evil disco Static X.
Evil Disco.
Isn't that what like Wayne Static always like referenced his like music as like evil disco or something like that? I thought I read somewhere like he that's how he like described it, because he was like super big into like industrial like techno music or something like that,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Which is why
Yeah.
you hear like a lot of like drum beats type of like kind of like mixed in with
yeah,
within like the like evil like type of Static X, like it blends well. And then after that, you've just got the deepest, just yelling Mudvayne, just evil Mudvayne. Like I don't know how to explain it. Just Mudvayne is just Mudvayne.
yeah.
And then to go from all of that to Rob Zombie, which I thought was going to be like this satanic nightmare type of show, and ended up being nothing like that. It was like if you mix like a satanic nightmare with a funky psychedelic mushroom trip type of like show, and like it was super groovy and super heavy at the same time, and that was a crazy, weird, just wild show.
Fuck yeah, sounds dope, man.
What was your craziest show, Dave? You've been to concert?
There's so many I can name. I'll tell you what, the first time I saw Rob Zombie, it was more like heavier because he just released Sinister Urge. And that
Okay.
was the first time. This is back in when Verizon Wireless Amphitheater was still a thing. And like at the time, that was like the biggest pit I ever saw. It was at Ozfest. And that was also my first show. Like that shit went crazy. But I think War, when Dave Brocky was still alive, was probably one of the craziest shows I'd ever seen in my life. Because all the theatrics, the blood, just everything they had, or the props and everything, it was crazy. Like you purposely wore a white shirt to see how many colors of blood and shit like that you get on you.
Yeah.
Fucking sick. I don't think I have the shirt anymore. It started stinking after long fucking time. Man, you know what? I think one of the craziest shows that really stuck with me is one of the Slayer's last shows in Austin. Because you know how at that amphitheater, it's like a big old lawn area in the back.
I haven't been there.
Chris, you know what I'm talking about? So there was pits going everywhere. Like you see 2 or 3 different pits like in the pit area, but in the lawn there was quite a bit of them. So close, like because there's that ledge that's right there that before you get to the seats, people were moshing so hard, people were falling off of that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. There was a time I got knocked down. I ended up catching like 3 or 4 people. One of them was a cute chick. I'm just like, I just caught her in my arms like this. I'm like, hi.
You're coming home with me tonight.
It's like, I'm your hero tonight. She ended up kissing me on the cheek. I was like, oh, that was worth it.
The Spider-Man songs are
perfect, Chris.
I'm not gonna stand in
Your way. I think that one of the anytime a Slayer show's involved, like those are probably like some of the craziest. But I'll just say a pit experience. Cannibal Corpse having 3 different pits like simultaneously diagonal to each other, and people running through all 3 of them. It was crazy. Like it was a weird experience. It's like you had a giant pit right in the middle and 2 smaller ones diagonal of each other, but it's like people were still sticking to their pits, but people were running through them. It's like there was doorways in the pits. Like that's the best way I can describe that. Like it was fucking weird, but it was cool.
I have a separate question for both of you. Oh, that's the same question for both of you. What's a concert that you wish you got, like a notable, like known concert you wish you got to go to, like, you know, the live recording of If You Want Blood, You've Got It album at the Apollo Theater, or, you know, the song remains the same, you know, Led Zeppelin at Madison Square Garden. Like what's a concert you guys wish you would have gone to go to?
Chris, do you have an answer? Because I got two right off the bat.
You go ahead, dude.
Okay. The live recording of Sepultura in Sao Paulo in 1996 or 1997.
All right.
And this is where Max Cavalera notably said, Sao Paulo, show the world. And people went fucking apeshit. That one, or the Bolt Thrower reunion show, I think it was in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing footage of that show, I was like, fuck, man. Like, I know it's probably a little lesser on the scale as far as like, oh shit. But for me, like those two probably. Because Sepultura is like one of my biggest influences ever. And Bolt Thrower is just one of those bands that to me had never made a shit album. So, and then like, but them breaking up was like kind of shit. Then they did a reunion, then never went back to it again. So
I definitely think like I've never heard a bad thing about Sepultura, except for more recently where they're doing the farewell tour with Max and Igor. So that's the
one thing I wish we could get one last time is a original Sepultura world tour. Now, me seeing Max and Igor do their thing with the Sepultura albums they've been doing have been killer.
Oh yeah, re-recording them. So I'm not gonna lie,
I got them too. I got them on vinyl.
I recently got into like Max and Igor's like ventures. Like they've got Soulfly, they've got what is it, the
Cavalera
Conspiracy. More of like the Roots album is where I've been getting into. So I never used to be big into them, but now I'm starting to kind of like dip my toes in them. Like, all right, you know.
Yeah.
I have on my alternative playlist. It's not really alternative, but like I call it the alternative playlist. I have Jumped the Fuck Up on that.
Oh, yes.
Dude, every single time that fucking riff kicks in, I'm just like, oh, it's just like, I'm a fucking rage. Like,
I'm gonna tell you, dude, next time Soulfly comes, dude, you're coming. We're going.
I'm down.
We're going, and we're gonna jump the fuck up. That's what we're gonna do.
For sure. Chris, what about you?
So I have like four. That comes to top. In no particular order. I would love to be alive during some of these, or born sooner. I guess that makes sense. Anytime before Justice era Metallica with Cliff would be awesome. Like seeing them, like even like on Ride the Lightning or on the Master Puppets tour where they have it Ozzy. I think that was like, yeah, they're fucking on top of the world with Cliff. I would like to see Cowboys from Hell era Pantera. I wish I could have seen them like that. This pre Vulgar display, like, come on, that had to be something else, dude. Don't get me wrong, Vulgar is my favorite album, but still, like, just to see them like just raining with Cowboys from Hell.
Now that you mention it, that Pantera show in Russia.
Yeah.
Tsushima Airfield. Were they on that one with Metallica?
Yeah.
Another one related to it, I would have loved to see Damage Plan. Like, I would have loved to see Damage Plan just play like Soul Bleed and Blink an Eye. Fuck You, Breathe New Life. This that whole album was fucking killer. And I'm a big Dimebag fan, I'm a big Pantera fan. So I'm not like just fucking just like being like pure fucking Dime, but just I liked it, dude. I like that record, dude. A lot of people don't like Newfound Power and shit, but I love that fucking record. And then
Right.
I would probably say just probably on the top of my list, dude, would probably be like fucking Slayer versus SA Slayer in '84 when that happened. I wish I was there for that. Just hearing about that night, just hearing about all like Slayer coming to town, and then the local legends that say Slayer and shit. The fucking you gotta give homage to like the like your well not say ancestry, but like the history that was like from San Antonio, and the fact that SA Slayer was like coming out of San Antonio, and they were Slayer before Slayer. That's a fucking trip, dude. That's just a crazy thing to hear about, because you hear Slayer and you're like, yeah, they're like the biggest metal band in the world. And you hear like, oh, well, there's a band called Slayer before Slayer, and they're from San Antonio. You're like, well, that's fucking crazy.
The thing that Dave McClain was in that too was just fucking insane.
Yeah, I'm a big history buff, so just hearing about that, like reading about it, checking it out, just like hearing interviews, and it's cool shit, dude. So it was like the top four I would have liked to attend to.
So I have two, maybe three.
Oh, happy birthday!
I was like, yeah, whose balloons are fucking going?
Please just fly across your face, like whoa.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, it's coming up in a couple months now. So I'll name three that I definitely wish I would have gotten to go to. One of them is the most controversial thing, like show, I'll say, that I love watching the documentary about, is Woodstock of '99, where they had the riots and they burnt that place to a crisp.
Damn it. I totally forgot about that one.
I really feel like that would have been so crazy to seeing Korn, that night.
Man.
Limp Bizkit playing break stuff, and just
Dude,
them.
Kid Rock fucking headlining that damn thing, I think. Or he was on there, but he wasn't headlining,
Yeah,
but he was on.
Coming out in like 90-degree weather in a white fur fox coat, and fucking no, dude. So that would be definitely one of them. Which, by the way, Metallica is still on there on that show. So same all
right.
Another one would definitely be AC/DC at the Tsushima airfield.
Oh wow, yeah.
That would have been ridiculously cool to see, especially with for those about to rock cannons in Russia, Soviet Russia. And then the other one would definitely have to be Madison Square Garden. The song remains the same, Led Zeppelin.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah. All good fucking choices we made.
Yeah, I was
Sure.
there wasn't one I was just kind of like, that's cool. And I was like, wow, these are all fucking badass. I would totally go to those too.
I'm super big into like concert vids, dude. I was just saying I had like a box set of like early and later years of like AC/DC, of like all of their like live footage, like, and then some like little cool things in there, like Beavis and Butthead paired with AC/DC stuff. Like,
do you have a favorite like live concert like footage like you like to watch? Any kind of like live DVD footage that they have, or like even on YouTube. Like, is there a favorite one that you have? Kind of like one of my top ones would be like Iron Maiden Rock in Rio.
That's a good one.
I've got lots of them. I definitely want to say, going along Iron Maiden, not watching but more listening because I haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
is the Live After Death Iron Maiden,
Oh, okay.
Long Beach. One that I have never seen the movie of or even heard it or anything that I've heard so much greatness about is Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Oh man,
I've never seen it, and I've always wanted to.
you need to.
Um, definitely a big one that I've always loved watching is because I also had the double, triple type of CD pack for Led Zeppelin's Mothership compilation album. And
Oh, okay.
it comes with like the DVD of like different concert footages. And it's like the first half of it is them live at Royal Albert Hall. That one's like one of my favorites to watch for sure.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I mean even AC/DC, like I said, uh I don't really know where it's at exactly, but it's one of the earlier Bon Scott years, them live on stage with Bon Scott, just playing all the classics. Live Wire, uh Sin City, obviously the big ones. Like when it comes to bands like that, like I'm very much like I hate the mainstream songs, but I love the beach.
Mm.
Like I can't stand TNT, can't stand Back in Black, I can't stand Dirty Deeds. I love Let Me Put My Love Into You. I love Problem Child, Sin City. Uh I love, Your Time's Gonna Come off
Fuck
of
yeah.
Led Zeppelin 1.
So you're a deep cut kind of guy.
Definitely, dude. Like as far as like I wouldn't say with all bands, but a lot
Yeah.
of them, especially with like, like Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC.
So like
Uh
any mainstream like band that's been around for decades, you want to hear the deeper cuts than
yeah.
all the singles that have been released, which I respect. I like that.
I don't want to hear Sweet Emotion, I want to hear,
Yeah.
you know.
Like give the people something they haven't heard live before. But of course, a lot of old people are gonna be like, "No, play your single shit."
And I mean,
I
there's
get it, but change it up.
yeah, I don't like Sandman, but like I'll listen to like one, all the time. If one comes on, I'm fucking headbanging to that.
Such a good fucking song, though. But yeah, no, I agree with I hear you. I remember the first time I saw them, they haven't played Whiplash in like years. This was when they were performing at the X Games,
Hmm.
and they busted that motherfucker out. I was like, "Whoa, fuck!"
That was like when I saw them in San Diego. I didn't expect them to play one of the encore songs they played was Fight Fire with Fire.
Oh man,
And I was like, I did not expect them to pull this one out. Mind you, they didn't play anything off of Reload like Memory or Fuel.
Yeah.
And so I was expecting one of those over, Fight Fire with Fire. But I still was like, this is awesome.
yeah, because they opened up with Fuel at the X Games because they took a jab at Tony Hawk, like not in a bad way, but they're like, before we start, we have an announcement to make. Tony Hawk, your golf cart lights are on. Okay, so like here we go, and then they started off with Fuel, and the whole fucking place went crazy.
Funny, dude. Yeah, I saw them play. They came out with Fight Fire Fire like as one of the encore songs. And I saw them in 2017, and I was just in awe. No fucking way they're gonna pull this off. Like they're gonna be addictees. And like the intro tracks playing, the little classical guitar, all that shit, and then like it does the build up and it stops, and then you see James is running from the darkness like. I was like, it's fucking happening, dude. And then like then they do the fucking the they started holding the notes. I was bump, 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 and fucking fire. I was like, oh, it's happening. And that was just a crazy fucking show. I was like, holy shit. The fact that they pulled out Fire, Fire, Fire. And then I think after that, they fucking ended it with Inner Salmon, or they did like 2 or 3 more songs and they called it a night. I was like, I was not expecting fucking Fire, 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 dude. I was like, what the fuck, dude? That like, and I wanted to get fucking pit. I was like, I don't want to move. I'm just frozen, fucking awe. It's like, holy shit.
They put on one of the best shows ever.
Oh yeah, dude.
They do, man. They're one of the great. I just kind of like what Nate brought up earlier. I'm just like, man, I would love to go to their shows, but finance wise, depending on where I'm at, I'm like, fuck, I can't.
I just pictured just like kicking the rocks and just like nobody wants to let me go see them.
No, nobody wants me to go see Metallica.
I've always thought this was hilarious. Like an interesting thing is how funny musicians are. Like the comedy aspect of musicians, where like the stage banter.
Yeah.
Like I remember like when I saw Metallica, you know, it was at Petco Park, which is where the San Diego Padres play.
Mhm.
And like I remember there was because I also got the clip, the little at the time you can like scan your barcode of your ticket on their website, and then like you can get like a free download of the concert.
Oh, that is.
For like the hardwired like tour. And
That's how it was at the X Games too.
Was it?
Yeah, like I have the wristband hanging up on my wall right here, and if you scanned it, you get a free download of the whole concert.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, and it was it was also for that flooding that happened. Like they were trying to help out for the foundation for like Louisiana or something like that.
Take that, Napster.
They created their own Napster. No, but like I was listening back to it, and like I remember hearing like James, like he, and at the show that I saw him at, I don't remember him doing it, but at the show, I guess he was like, he like looked at this girl and he was like, what do you want? He was like, you want the guitar? Shoe? Pick? You want the pick? And he like throws the guitar pick, like just like as banter of like the guitar, you want the shoe. Like it's simple, like stupid things like that, but it's hilarious. And then like he throws the guitar pick at her, and then he goes like, she dropped it. and then he goes like the Padres, she dropped it. Like taking shots at the San Diego Padres, and like the entire stadium started booing him. And he's like, oh, Giants, I know, we hate it. Because they're from San Francisco. And like I love like how funny like musicians are.
Yeah.
Like, they don't like get the credibility of like, we're some funny guys. Like
you kind of have to be.
Conversations before where like on similar podcasts who were like musicians, some of them secretly want to be comedians, and some comedians secretly want to be musicians, like rock stars, shit like that.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I've heard like similar stories, like like Jim Brewer. He's like one of the biggest ones who's like kind of like both in the way where he gets up there and he's had stand-up sets where he has a whole fucking band playing with him. And like, I haven't seen any other like comedian like do anything like that before. But like he's kind of like in between both worlds, kind of like Jim Burr. Bill Burr, like how he's a drummer.
Yeah.
Fucking trying to think of any other like comedian that's like with the fucking like rock world or like music.
Brian Posehn.
There we go. Brian Posehn's a big one too. And like he had like fucking like albums out there of him like singing with some like big fucking artists too, like with like Scotty and one of them. Who else is he like had on those records? Like I forgot. Like
wasn't like John DePensa one of them too?
It's been a while, dude. Like I honestly couldn't say.
I was gonna say somebody who's kind of reverse is Henry Rollins, because didn't he do stand up for a while?
Big one, dude. Yeah.
Isn't it more like a spoken word thing he was doing?
I thought he did both. Like I thought he was doing like comedy for a while, and then he
Yeah,
kind of stopped doing comedy, and now he starts doing like spoken word, sort of like book readings and stuff.
That's like what Ricky Rammon's doing right now. He's doing he did like a book tour for his book, and he'll go and talks, shoot the shit, and then he'll read some chapters and shit like that, which is cool too.
Mm.
Hmm.
Let me ask you: have you heard of this guy? He's a stand-up comedian, pretty funny. I love him, but he has a podcast where he interviews mostly like comedians and heavy metal musicians. His name is Dean Del Rey.
Yeah, dude.
That guy has a podcast. His podcast, Let There Be Talk.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it all, but
A play on as of Let There Be Rock from AC.
I haven't listened to it in a while, but yeah, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it in a while either, but I remember, he's done Corey Taylor, Sebastian Bach, Kirk Hammett. I think he did James Hetfield. I can't remember. I remember he did Brian Liu from Murder in the Front Row documentary.
Oh yeah.
He's had like so many amazing guests. I thought I remember he had Joe Perry on there too.
I need to check it out. I haven't heard of this.
I'll shoot you his Instagram profile.
Sweet. Now, but what you were saying about how musicians are funny, we were talking about James Hetfield, him fucking with that security guard, that one video.
Yeah.
That's always like one of the greatest ones to me. But also like, I think musicians unintentionally become comedians because like when you're on the road, you have to fucking find dumb shit to occupy yourself with or do dumb shit to occupy yourself with. Because other than that, you're just sitting there twirling your thumbs at the venue and shit. So I think it unintentionally happens.
I don't think I sent you this, but I remember I sent it to you, Chris. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see that video of Chad Kruger at like a casino?
Yeah, dude. that happened like quite a while where the chick's like, "Sing me a song." You're like, "How about you fuck off?"
Yeah. She's like, Chad, sing me a song. And he's like, "How about you shut the fuck up?" And she's like, "Sing me a song." He's like, "What song do you want?" And she's like, I don't know, Rockstar. And he's just like, "I threw a stand," and he starts like singing, and I'm just like, it is so funny. He's straight up and just like, "Shut the fuck up."
The dude saw the camera. He's like, I can't have no more hate." It's like, "What song do you want, dude?"
that boosted, I think, Nickelback's ratings. Like that was great. That was hilarious.
Yeah,
I thought Canadians were nice.
You see that video of fucking Chad Gray from Mudvayne where he's in the crowd and he's singing "Not Falling," and this dude fucking like flings his fucking beer at him, dude.
It was a water bottle.
A water bottle, the water bottle, and like he sees him, he smacks the fucking bottle out of his hand, or he hits up. It hasn't been a while, and he's like, right above him, dude. He's flipping him off, and he's fucking like singing and still flipping him off. It was like, you should have just fucking jumped down there and ripped his fucking head off, dude. But just props, dude, just fucking keeping the energy going, keeping the good vibes. Like, yeah, he's an asshole, but fuck him, whatever. I'm gonna keep singing.
I loved when we saw Mudvayne. The only downside to Mudvayne that I had was
there wasn't mud.
Well, there wasn't mud. There was no mud in my veins. No, it was like as much as I was, preaching, like support people and support the metal community and whatnot, like in between like song banters, like that's all that he was doing. Like he was just like, we're the metal community, we need to support each other, we need to hold each other, we're family. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's dope, I'm supporting it. And then they play a song and then he goes back into it, and like it was literally like he did that like 5 times throughout the night, and like the third time I'm just like, all right, dude, like get on with it. I get it. We're family. I got it, man. Like you don't have to keep reminding me. I remember 20 minutes ago you said this.
I remember the fucking first time you said it. Mm-hmm.
Like I get it. I support the metal scene. I support my brothers and sisters of metal. Like you don't have to keep reminding me though, dude. Play happy.
Yeah. He gets up there. I don't know if you noticed, but I love you and you love me. I need a place to stay. That's what I'm trying.
Our hotel room wasn't booked for this city.
Oh shit.
We have a flat tire. Is this not a metal community or not? And everyone's fucking quiet, like, I don't want them staying in my house.
Like, if he's gonna bitch, I don't want him fucking over there. He's probably gonna eat up everything in the fridge.
Go to sleep, he's right in your ear, just like, I don't know if you know this. He's been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
That motherfucker, that deceiving motherfucker.
He just starts moving it towards like scam.
Oh, yeah, he'll eat up everything in your house. Probably piss all over the fucking toilet. Yeah, leave like half drunken like beers or sodas or waters and shit all over the house. Now finish them. Yeah, that's what he's getting at. He's there to fuck your house up.
So, podcast. I've been listening. I've been involved with the conversation, but I've had these picks from Sam Ash. Yeah, so regular, medium-sized Sam Ash picks.
Nice.
I ended up doing just by accident. I fucking mess with the grinder, and now I have a baby pick.
You got a baby one.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just like so involved with the conversation. I was just chilling, and now I made the little baby gas pick by accident.
Dude, so when I first started playing bass, I've always been a pick type of guy. That's the big thing between bass is like, do you play with your fingers or do you pick? Off the bat, I've always been, a pick type of guy. And it's interesting because when I first started picking, I tried using like the diamond picks.
Yeah.
The big fat diamond picks.
That fucking Dorito chip of a pick.
Yeah, I remember having like a medium. If you're gonna pick, it's got to be a heavy duty for guitar. I learned that the hard way because I had like a flimsy like medium like Dorito chip pick.
Hi, Nate.
And I was like playing with it. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. Like, all right. So like, actually, wait. The first time I played it, I was like, this pick is way too big. I don't like this. And so I went towards like a jumbo kind of like medium sized like guitar pick, but it was like like the strength was like heavy, and I liked the feel of that. I don't know if I still have it, but I was playing that for a while, and then I slowly started getting into where I'm at now, where I've got like not the big Dorito picks, but they're the pretty like like inch and a half like.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Like I called it the shield because it looks like a shield more.
I like that.
And I love using the bigger picks now though, because it's a lot more of like a surface area for you to not be able to miss the strings as far as.
So not so much like that, but a little bit bigger.
This.
More like what Chris has. It's almost exactly what Chris has, but what I used was the Ernie Ball Prodigy, so they're like the edges are like sharp.
Yeah,
Oh,
Prodigy kick ass, dude.
Yeah, I really got into that from one of my old drummers who actually recorded the Patriot for us.
Oh, nice.
He he was a guitar player at heart too, and he um he he had like a bunch of picks, and he showed me the Prodigy picks. And like I was playing around with the Prodigy. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked by the
no,
cat.
you're good.
Um he uh he had the Prodigy picks, and I was playing with it, and I was like, holy shit, like it's got like it kind of adds a lot more bite to it.
I gotta
And
try these out.
I love them. I love them. The sharpness just like adds like more of like a bite to it when you use it. And they even have them for the guitars too.
Yeah, they have 3 different sizes or 4. They have like the regular one that's like a regular pick. They have the small ones that are like jazz size, and then they have the big shield ones, like the one I believe you're using. Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Mhm.
I used them for a while. I'm more like a dude that needs like grip to pick. Um, so like the max grips for the Jazz threes, those are my jam. Matt Heapy signature Jazz 3 pick. That's my fucking go to. If not that, my other main one is the stealth picks and the stealth 2, I think they're called, or the stealth threes. From acoustic attack. Those are fucking dope as fuck, dude. Those have like insane grip, durability. Um, those fucking picks kick ass, dude. So I always have those on me. The acoustic attack picks, and the Dunlop Jazz 3 Matt Heavy picks. And fucking I know I talked about on the podcast already. Mick Thompson has his own signature guitar pick now, and it's like the exact same as the Mad PP, a slightly bit smaller, but just a darker color. But the grip is, it feels like you're holding sandpaper. And like there's times where I'll play and I'm playing like for a long time, and I'll let go of the pick, and the pick will be stuck to my finger or my thumb. That's how premium the grip is.
I've never tried doing like what you do. I noticed like you kind of do like the crosses and slices in it for better grip. I never tried that, but what I used to do is I had a like they have like a like gymnastics chalk for their like the grips for their hands. I
Yeah.
bought like 2 bricks of that stuff because I was gonna start using it for the gym, lifting weight. And so I had a bunch of it like grounded up into a sandwich baggie. And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, and I threw a bunch of my picks in there, and I would like I sealed it up and shook it around and like pulled them out and like started rubbing up. And so I got like basically like powdered picks basically. And that
Dude,
worked for me for a while because my hands, I sweat like a motherfucker. And so especially on stage. And so that worked charms for me.
that's badass. I'm gonna try it. That's a cool idea. I've never heard about that. It's really
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, I never heard about that. You got powder coated fucking picks. I like that.
Yeah, and it's graded for like lift weight, like
Yeah, power lifters and shit like that, gymnastics and shit.
yeah, and I forgot where I got the idea from. I thought I bought a pair of picks that was like that, but I could be wrong.
You ever see like the little sticky little I think they're called pick grips, but it's like little like double sided like like you ever see like the envelopes where you pull it apart and it has that sticky residue. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you put in the pick and it'll stay stuck to your finger.
Hmm.
The thing I see a problem with that is like if you're trying to like adjust a pick and it like you're gonna have to like maneuver it like scrape it off your finger and readjust it.
yeah. Normally,
That
like
sounds. Yeah,
the pick starts turning on you. You can't just turn it back in. You get
Yeah,
that
I've
sounds
seen
unattractive.
The ones where they have the star cut out in the middle, those are pretty cool. And but like the Max script, dude, like I mean, I'll send you some pics, dude. I got some acoustic guitar pics. I know I told you like last year when I first started getting into them, dude. I'll send you some, and now I have like a bunch, dude. I think they'll work out great for you when you play bass. I know I give Dave like a handful of picks every time I get like a brand new bag of picks. Dude, try these out. Try these out.
I gotta say, man, those acoustic attacks, like Max grips, are probably like the best ones so far. Just because like they're really good for bass and they're heavy, they're sharp. The Matt Heafy ones are a little too small for me, but if I was playing a guitar with that, probably be a different story.
Yeah, like have you ever heard about the flow picks? Nate,
Glow picks?
flow like water flow.
Oh, flow. No, I haven't.
They're like oval kind of shaped picks, and they come with different sizes. Well, they started doing some like signature ones, and like John Petrucci has some, and the size is 2.0 milliliter, and like
Now that you mentioned they're kind of like ovaled, I think I do remember seeing those ones. They're kind of like, right?
And Hetfield uses them now too. The white things, those are the flow picks. And then fucking Jeff Loomis from fucking well, Nevermore and fucking Arch Enemy. I gave Dave one, dude. They started making these, and these have like a little bit of grip on them too.
Nice.
But it's for me like I'm mostly like I'm gonna do like a 1.3, 1.38, 1.3, 1.5 kind of pick. I like the pick stick for me. And like this one's 2.0, like dude, it feels like fucking butter. Like it's like they're beveled on the side, like it's just like you just glide through the fucking guitar, dude. And I can only imagine bass. So definitely like check these out, dude. These are fucking dope for you, for the thicker side and shit.
For sure. As long as like I said, like now that it's weird. Because now that I started playing with like the bigger picks, as long as they're a bigger pick for sure, I can vibe with that. Did you see that, Dave?
I saw that. I was just like, what? And like almost perfect timing and perfect shape.
I think
Holy shit.
the camera's got like some sort of weird thing. I don't think you saw that, Chris. I was making my hand like the pick, and I just saw on my camera it just had like some like hearts started flowing.
Right, maybe it's doing it because of like if you're reacting to it.
I was just saying maybe it's Apple, man. Apple's got some weird stuff. Anyways, I've noticed that though, like since I've like gone to like the bigger picks, I try to go down to the smaller picks, and it's just like this feels funny. It's kind of like when I started playing like bass, and I went back to guitar, and like I'm like this guitar feels small to me.
Dude, making the switch is like so fucking weird sometimes, dude. Yeah, no, after playing bass and then going to guitar, I'm like, what the fuck? This feels fucking weird.
Dude, it's like feeling you're like, is this a ukulele? What is going on? It's so crazy.
Nate, are you strictly a 4-stringer or are you willing to fuck around with a 5-string? As far as bass goes.
I primarily only stay with 4 strings. All I own is 4 strings. I've wanted to get into 5 strings. I've been interested in it. I've like tried playing a little bit of a 4-string or 5-string. Sorry, at like a Guitar Center or Sam Ash, any guitar shop. I don't know. It's just the neck feels like extra beefy with that 5th string, and I'm like, I don't know how to play this.
Yeah, some of the necks, man, like my Schecter it's a thick fucking neck. But anytime I play Ibanez or ESP on with the 5-string, like no problem.
I think it's different. It's the different necks too. Like
yeah, definitely. Because some of them make a thin U, some of them don't. Some of them make like a thick D pattern. I'm just like, yo, it's gonna cramp up your hand.
both of these are like kind of like the neck is like much more of like a smoother, slimmer like neck
Yeah.
versus like my Jackson. So, like I said, they're all 4 strings. Just my Jackson, it feels thin, but like long ways when you're holding it like this, it just feels like wide. Like I'm like,
Ah,
it does it feel like I'm having to really stretch my fingers to get to that E string. Like
might be
it,
those extra jumbo frets they fucking made it in, like as far as like the width of the neck is and shit.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Now I need to get some more basses and some more guitars.
I I I I want to get more guitars for sure. I think basses I'm done on. I'm pretty much
Maybe one more.
Always
See,
have
it's
I
room
like,
for one more.
yeah, you always got room for one more. See, you say you got your main one, but you gotta get it a buddy, and then what if they feel left out? You gotta get another. Then you gotta get the whole collection.
and then they're all siblings, so then you gotta branch out so it's not inbreeding or anything.
Oh, what?
No, if I did get 2 more basses though, definitely it would be a Rickenbacker
Oh, okay.
and an acoustic 4 string because I don't have an
Ooh,
acoustic bass.
good choice.
But I definitely want to I definitely want a classic uh uh Gibson Flying V,
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
like the Kirk Hammett, James Hetfield, type of Gibsons that they have.
Sure.
I definitely want to get myself one of those, which I know of a shop here in town where they sell a bunch of Gibsons from like they're like 70s and 80s Gibsons,
I think I've heard of this shop.
and they don't like price gouge. Like their vintage guitars are the same price as a a 2012 or 2015 Gibson. I don't I kind of don't want to like shout them out because I don't want people going there and then they're gonna be like, oh shit,
Don't.
clientele, let's jack up our prices now. But I'm all about local, so Space Tone here in San
Oh yeah,
Antonio.
dude.
I know what you're talking about.
They
I know.
I love going to their shop because like I said, they don't price gouge. And I told them that when I was in there. I was like, your guys' shop is sick. I was like, you guys don't price gouge or nothing. Your guys' vintage guitars aren't like, over like $5,000 at least minimum. I think I've seen like they had like some 70s, 60s, and 70s like strats in there. They were like eight,
Oh,
nine.
fuck. Damn.
Yeah, like they have a wide variety of many of different guitars and basses, and they're all not that bad of a price.
No. Still a little bit expensive, but I mean, compared
For
to
what you're
now,
getting, yeah, like you go to Guitar Center, they have their specialty room where you've got,
you know what? Fuck that specialty room and fuck them too.
dude, I haven't. It's partially because I haven't really, like I said, been musically inclined, but to like join any other groups or anything. But
Yeah.
I haven't been inside of a Guitar Center in over a year and a half, maybe. Partially just because you can get everything online.
Yeah.
Mixed with Guitar Center just really fucking sucks, dude. A lot of their workers don't know what they're talking about.
Nope.
They price gouge the shit out of it. They don't even have a really good selection of guitars and basses.
No, not at all. The last time I was in there, it felt fucking dead.
Dude,
Like, it felt depressing.
I went to the bass section. They had like 2 Jacksons, one of which I already owned. One of them was some shitty looking like It was like it was like if Jackson made like a first act or a Squire bass, kind of like intro bass, and I'm like, okay, I'm better than that. I'm not that shitty.
Not a shitty bass player at all, bro. You're a good fucking bass player.
they had a couple of Squires in there, some over $1,000 Fender jazz basses. And then they did have another Jackson in there, but it was like a Rickenbacker ripoff that Jackson makes. You seen that one?
Yeah. Disgusting.
Yeah, it's I
It's hard to look at.
They don't, yeah, because at first glance you like kind of like your heart flutters like, ooh, and then you see the headstock and you're like, oh.
That's the thing. I'm not a Rickenbacker guy, but seeing that, I got a little offended. I was like, "What the fuck, really?"
Yeah, no,
Like,
they only. I mean, I hear Rickenbacker, and obviously the first two things that come to mind is Lemmy and Cliff Burr.
I mean, yeah. Cliff, man, he kind of played through in a sort of variety of basses, though, didn't he? Like, I know mostly it was Rickenbacker, but he's had quite a few different ones.
The main two that I that come to mind that I can think of is his Rickenbacker,
Mm-hmm.
and then his Aria bass.
That black one, right?
Black one with the single pickup.
Yeah, that's the one. What was it called again?
I think it's pronounced Aria. I think it's Aria.
Okay.
Let me double check that real quick. I don't want to.
We're gonna fact check right here on the podcast. It's the Ugly Metal Dudes exclusive fact checks.
Yeah, I don't know if it's pronounced Aria or Aria.
Either way,
it's like if you pronounce it Ariat or Ariat, like the boots, cowboy boots.
Yeah,
whatever you want to pronounce it. There's a right way to say it, but I don't know.
As long as the point gets across, that's all that matters.
Yeah. The black bass that
the nice black bass he has with the single pickup.
Yeah.
My kind of setup right there.
Ooh. Sorry, got sidetracked. Never mind.
I was like, "Are you ordering food for us?"
No, I saw the base. I saw the base, and I looked over, and it said $400 and some dollars. So I'm like, buying it, but it's not the one that I was thinking of. It's a different one.
Well, no more. One last question: what does the future hold for you,
man? Future holds for me. Musically, like I said, I'm hoping to get back on stage, and if it's just a couple fill-in shows or hanging out with my buds, like filling in on a cover song or whatever jam. I think I definitely want to keep doing the Through the Ringer interviews. Chris, I'm gonna get you and While They Bled on that. We need to do that soon.
We'll be
honored. Going back to that, I eventually want to branch out and not even stick with just musicians interviewing them, but even going to like independent people, like vendors, who make like I did with Dave, where he makes band t-shirts for local bands. I want to do Rick McLean for Frets and X, get the story of like what made him want to start doing it, what's exposing more local shops and mixed with bands and musicians. So definitely more interviews are going to be coming. Other than that, that's about it. That's all I've got going on.
I definitely want to get you in there when we start printing some more shit. Like whether I'm printing for While They Bled or maybe Through the Ringer, I definitely want to get you in there and have you film the process or like just even try the process.
Yeah, sure. It's fun.
I would love to get in there.
Hell yeah, we'll make it happen one day.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Nate, you want to let everybody know where they can follow you? If you want, any shout outs you want to do before we end this?
Yeah, let me pull up my handles. I don't have my handles memorized. I should. I know my Instagram is it should be Nate N8 SMYTH spelled Nate Smyth _official on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I believe it should be Nate Smyth, or formerly, or it's called X now. It should be also Nate Smyth. I've got it in my link tree on Instagram. YouTube, I've got a YouTube page that I've been trying to get into, like getting those numbers up. That's just spelled NATE Smith on YouTube. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah, Nate, we finally got you on the podcast, dude. It's been fun. For sure, we're gonna do a part 2 when we're all together in person. That's gonna be more chaotic. And
No,
yeah, dude, we look forward to seeing what you do in the future, man. It's gonna be fucking sick and killer, and hopefully see you back up on that stage, man.
for sure. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Fuck yeah, man, it was fun.
We'll catch y'all next time on that Ugly Melodies podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Dave. Until then, y'all stay ugly, y'all stay heavy.